Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Sprites. Good evening, everybody. Temple Lion, Baker Man, Blue Eyes 22. Everybody coming in here for Hey, Gary Hass. Good to see you. Asim, Deborah, Lisa, Snake and Bake. A little Snake and Bake. Awakened, welcome. Davy Rose, welcome. Jody Miller. This is, excuse me, this is Encounters, and this is our Friday night special, the Ashtar Command special, Ashtar Command Q&A. Welcome if you're new to the show. Every Friday night we do an Ashtar Command Q&A with special guests from our star family at some point tonight. And the music is a message. Deborah, good to have you with us. Marinette, good to have you with us. Everybody coming in here. I am CmdrAleon. Just a little background about me. I have been working with the Ashtar Command before there was any internet websites or TikToks or Facebooks or Instagrams or anything like that, or even YouTube. And I've been working with them for a long time, at least in my adult life. Deborah, good to see you. Good evening. So I've been working with them for a long time. I'm a contactee. My first contact was in the 1960s with men, women, and children in light blue spacesuits in a flying saucer type ship outside a cul-de-sac where I used to live back then as a kid in Long Island in New York. And I've had many sightings of spaceships. So Lucky, good to have you with us. Thank you for finding us. We're glad to have you here with us on Encounters. Friday nights, we don't do any interviews. This will be a Q&A session. And also, at some point, music will be provided with a message from our space family through the program. And if you're never, Linda Lou, good to see you. So if you're not familiar with how this works, you will find out tonight once we get going here. So we're glad to have you with us. Johnny Miller, good evening. Good evening, brother. Everybody midnight, everybody coming in here, wherever you're around the world. If you're just coming here now, welcome to the show. And as soon as April comes on, Friends of Prairies, she will be with me doing this special broadcast as we do Friday evenings, specifically related to the Ashtar Galactic Command. So we'll be getting started in just a little bit. But for the moment, welcome everybody here. And there'll be some people, I'm sure, that have never heard of the Ashtar Command or maybe vaguely heard of it, you know, in terms of internet. Hey, Edward, David, welcome to the show. Charlotte, everybody, good evening. And so we're going to get into a lot of stuff here related to Ashtar Command and the history of the Ashtar Command, which has been around for eons. Derek, welcome. Happy Friday. Gerard Robinson, good to see you, brother. Good to have you with us. Everyone coming in here. Where's Mike Ganti? I think it is. I couldn't read the whole thing. But we are here. Karen82, welcome to the show. Welcome. Disclosure is coming. Definitely disclosure is coming, that's for sure. Pumpkin Pie, the M. Milo Suya. Beth Crow, I think Beth Crow. Bob Pakolaki or something. Dale Jones, why do you think they don't make contact? Oh, they do, Dale. We're going to get into that tonight. So we're going to get into the fact that the space people are making contact. That's what this show's all about, that whole thing with contact with our Ashtar Command people. Good question, and we'll definitely get into that. And one of the things I will say is that actually over the different centuries of time, the Ashtar Command has always been throughout the multiverse, and here on Earth, they have always made individual contact. But now you're going to start seeing a greater contact start to happen with the Ashtar Command, or what we call Ashtar Galactic Command. Do we have Space Marines? No, I don't think we have Space Marines. I think that on Earth we have a program in place, but I don't think, not Space Marines. I do think there is some sort of a Space Force, but it would be an Earth-based limited situation. So yeah, but nothing like a Space Marine or anything. Woodwife 31, welcome. Jules Sam, welcome to the show. Type Cape, welcome. All the people coming in here. Tara, I'm CmdrAleon, so welcome to the show. I am with the Ashtar Command. In truth, I've always been with the Ashtar Command. My regular show is Monday through actually, yeah, Friday's our special night, but the rest of the day starts, so you get to have you with us. But tonight is a special, always to focus on the Ashtar Command and our star family. So you've not missed anything yet. We're definitely going to be getting started very soon. And we will definitely be talking about a number of things we get regarding, hey, Illuminated Fairy, it's good to have you with us. It's been a while. Robert, welcome. EDH. Sure, Slurred Words, Starseed Awaken. That's a good name. Welcome to our show. Coco, happy Friday to you as well. Sonja Arrow Art, hello, good to see you. Rachel Holt, Mick C, and just everybody coming in here. And pretty soon, I think April will be in. She was live before. She might be still finishing up her live programming, but hopefully she'll be in here. Todd Boone, welcome. Estella Bella, Jackie F, good to have you with us. Hey, Sonja, good to have you with us. Everybody coming in from all over the place, good to have you with us. So relax tonight. It's going to be a special evening. The energies are totally amped up. Vivian, user 534. Good to have you with us. Star Runner Info, I think it is. Welcome. Half Pint. Good to see you guys, Ray and Half Pint. Good to see you. So get relaxed. We've got our apple cider for tonight's special. I always have apple cider anyway. Bill K, everybody coming here, all the new people. You might have seen my video that we had created. Are you going to have an ET guest? Denise, when April's on, what happens, I'll explain it to you. She has two phones. One phone is her phone that she uses for being here. The other phone she uses for our space family. They use the phone to communicate, not with words, but they'll use the phone to use music. So they know our space family knows everything about our music. Happy Friday. Thank you, Jackie F. They know about our music, our culture, and they love music. And so usually during the show, if we sing a song, one of the things we do on Friday nights is I will sing a space song to my family off planet on the ship. And what they will do is pick a song and play a song. Hey, young Skywalker, good to see you. So they communicate through our music. They pick certain types of music with a message, and it's pretty beautiful. Let's see here. So yeah, there is definitely that interaction that we'll have. It's a little bit different than people think. One of the things I will say, if you're new to what we're doing here, we don't channel, we don't use any pendulums, we don't have crystal balls, we don't throw cards in the air, or any of that stuff. Everything that you'll see happening here tonight is exactly as it is. So everything you're going to experience tonight, you will experience and feel it within your very, very essence of your soul. So it's good to have you with us here. And again, we will have April on here as soon as she has finished with her live. She should be coming in here, and we'll be definitely bring her on here on the show. So in the meantime, I will talk a little bit about the Ashtar. That's a little bit. Any questions you might have about the Ashtar Command, please ask me. My guides have communicated with me through music for many years. Denise, beautiful. Music is always the most beautiful way of communications. Music is actually a universal understanding, and our star family also probably has their own music that they listen to on their own planetary systems. But here on Earth, we have even some of the artists, some of the music that our space family will play is certainly things that have a really beautiful message in it. And those are the things that bring everything together, and that's so important. So, yeah, music is a very universal language. And Gina says, I've been abducted many times in my life. Gina, on a different night, when we don't do the specials like this, like on a Saturday night or a Sunday night, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we do have our regular show, and we can possibly have you on to talk about that on a different night for sure. Hey, Gina, welcome to the show. Good to have you with us. And if you have any questions regarding about the star people, the positive beings, which is the Ashtar command, we'd love to, definitely hear, what you need to share with us in terms of a question that you might have. We'd love to have you be with us here without a question. And always the show is well protected. It's always protected. With the Astro Command, they protect our show, our broadcasts. We put a light protection around every single individual around the world who comes here. And we bless every single person that's viewing the show wherever they are, whether you're a new person to the show on Friday nights or not. We always bless everybody in love and light, in the highest light possible. So we're glad to have everybody coming here. And it's good to have all the people with us here. One of the things about the Astro Command, as we're waiting for April to eventually come in here, is that they have worked very diligently to make sure that we don't blow up the planet Earth. That's been one of the historic things about the Ashtar Command that you might know about, depending what decade you were actually born. I'm 70 now, my mom and sister also. Interesting. So you'll find that the history of the command in our current Earth history is that they shut down all the nuclear silos during the Cold War. Many of those nuclear, there's actually documents. Yamaya, good to see you. Welcome. Lavola, good to see you. They shut down all the nuclear silos during the Cold War. And when they shut all the nuclear silos down, whether it be in Russia, the United States, or other big countries, they shut them down. They couldn't function. These silos that they had and all the technology they had to test their missiles or shoot the nuclear missiles up, they were actually dismantled. At that point, they shut down all the electrical systems of the nuclear silos in the country. That's why the planet Earth is actually still here. So one in the during the Cold War, you would not wouldn't know what was going on, but they did this very much over the decades. They came here more so after Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Hey, Johnny Miller, good to see you. Susan Mary, good to see you. And when they came here, they came to our planet because of all the nuclear testing we were doing and all the stuff we were doing that was messing up our planet. And it was reverberating beyond Earth. So whenever we tested a nuclear bomb, underground testing or above ground, it actually affected our Earth. It affected not only us, it affected every other planet in our universe and beyond. So whenever they blew up a nuclear weapon, the radiation and the effects of the radiation reverberated beyond Earth. And it was just what happened. Hey, Papa Smurf, good to see you. Good to see you, Papa Smurf. Many blessings. And, so that's what happened. So a good reason, hey, Kit Kat, the reason why we're here now is because of the fact of the Ashtar Command. The reason why we still live, why we have life on Earth, is because of our brothers and sisters of the Ashtar Command, which actually were interceding many times. And there were documentaries, at least about how nuclear silos, I've seen over the years, there were a few documentaries showing how nuclear silos were shut down and flying saucers were above the bases where these nuclear silos were. And they shut down all the electrical equipment, And, yeah, very much. Hey, Kit Kat, good to see you, sister. And so that was what happened. And, hey, Xena, good to see you as well. Blessings, Sherry. So we should give thanks to our brothers and sisters within the Ashtar Command for being here to make sure our planet's still here. James, welcome. And that's why our planet is still here. The good news is our planet will be still here, although we have some crazy things going on our planet. We work very closely with the Ashtar Command. I'm a telepathic communicator. I've been always getting downloads from the command ever since probably when I was a kid, but I never thought anything about it until I got older. Now, I don't know how to do that, but if somebody does, I'm sure someone can get that together. I'm really bad at that stuff. Hey, Diane, good to see you. Welcome back. Breezy Alchemist, hey, good to see you. And, so tonight is really a special night where we really get laser focused on our space family. And since I have so much knowledge about that, it's a beautiful thing. When April comes in here, if April's still on, someone might want to jump in and just let her make sure to come on here. I sent her a message earlier, so I know she was doing some beautiful broadcasting earlier, so I'm not sure if he's still on or not on. But Sam Stoner, welcome. Good to have you with us as well. Okay, good, Cliff. Thank you. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. Hey, Goo Rocket, thank you for the roses. Oh, she's coming. Okay, Reader, thank you. And we're going to have her on screen. I think she was on screen, so I want to make sure we get her on screen tonight instead of just hopefully she'll be able to stay on her visual screen. Hey, Josh, good to have you with us. Anthony William. Dragonfly 611, good to have you with us. Everybody coming in here. And like I said, we'll be, certainly answering questions. Hey, Pete Smart, good to see you. Pete Stars TV, good to see you. Gary Hess, everybody. Al, thank you for the roses. I appreciate it very much. Pete Star TV in Ireland, welcome. And, thank you for all the roses there, Al. I appreciate it, brother. So it's really important to understand how this planet now is operating, how we are living on our planet. Not only that, the fact that we've always had our Ashtar Command on planet within the inner Earth, off planet, and also in our oceans. So 3 things. The Ashtar Command comes from many planetary systems beyond Earth. Number 2, have space cities or bases deep in our oceans and seas, and the deeper levels of our seas. 3rd, the Ashtar Command also and other star beings of light are in our inner Earth, what we call the hollow Earth. So there's 3 different levels, right? The inner Earth, the deepest levels of our oceans and seas. There are actual bases where there are star civilizations living on Earth in our oceans. Dragonfly 611, welcome to the show. Thank you for the galaxy, by the way. And when we understand the dynamics of all these things that we're going to teach you tonight, you'll understand better as to the dynamics of what's going on. We have our people that are aware, people within our own levels of society, the people that are in certain governments around the world, they are aware. Yes, it's called Agartha, yes. Well, hollow Earth, Agartha, but a lot of people don't think the Earth is hollow, and they don't know why we say the word hollow Earth. But you're right, Agartha is absolutely true, the subterranean cities. But I also use hollow Earth because some people think the Earth is just one solid rock, and we want to make sure people know it's just not one solid rock. Aston Haas, good evening. Welcome to the show. This is our Ashtar Command Q&A special. This night is always dedicated to the Ashtar Command. And we work in a very high frequency. As always, you got kicked out. What happened to Breezy Alchemist? Good to have you back. So, yeah, there's a lot of beautiful things when we realized. One of the things I was talking to somebody about, this wasn't on here, just somebody I knew. I said, if people only realized in current human life that we are not the only ones living on Earth. It's so amazing how if people are not educated about what's happening on our planet, that they think that everything that's happening on the surface is all there is, that this is it, right? The truth is, we've had people from other planetary systems living on Earth for longer before we had TikTok or any of the things that we have now. We've had people living on Earth in the seas, in our oceans, in slightly different dimensional frequencies or vibrational patterns right here on Earth. But because we cannot perceive them, or at least people that many of you can probably perceive them, but if people cannot perceive them, they only can believe what they understand to be correct, which is they think it's correct, that we are the only dwellers here on Earth, which is the actual surface dwellers on planet Earth, right? So the truth is that there are multidimensional realities of existence within our own planet. How's that for you? So, you're brought up to believe all these things in your textbooks about who we are as Earth people, but it's not true. It's just a program. The truth is, we are now going into a frequency of energy where we are actually going to see contact. Where we're going to see is our space family over time more and more interact with us. And that's all the different planetary systems of light within the Ashtar command. They're going to interact with us. They're going to eventually meet us on some level. And regardless of anything that's going on in the crazy news in the world, the most important thing to understand is that we are connected, that we are all connected within the universe that we're in, beyond our own understanding. We're all connected. Aston says they have lied to us about everything. We need to wake up more and more people. And that's true. We're all connected. No matter what anybody tries to tell you, if another human being tries to tell you otherwise, don't listen to that human being or that website or whatever it is. Don't listen to it. But we are all connected, brothers and sisters. That's what they don't want you to believe. They don't want you to understand that we're all connected to something greater than ourselves, right? Greater, meaning beyond ourselves, right? And we will not accept this, deception of what our governments of the world have told people about the existence of intelligent life. Because to them, the existence of intelligent life is an amoeba. Maybe they'll find a microorganism on another planet someday. So as we get into tonight's thing, April and I are going to have a beautiful dialogue and answer your questions and tell you a little bit about us, what we do, who we are. And we hope you'll learn a lot of things tonight from both of us. And that, to me, will be the most beautiful thing. We're going to bring April up now. And we're bringing our sister up. Now, she's not too far away from the other part of the world. She's up in New England, in northern Vermont. And we'll see if she can bring... I know you had your camera on earlier during your live. Are you able to do that on here?
Yeah, give me a few minutes. I've got like 500 dogs at my
Yeah, I don't know why
right now. Oh, you got to give
no
me just
problem.
a second. I just don't want to leave you hanging.
No, my
Come on.
earphones, my earpod. I had my daughter fix my earpod, and it's working, and I can't use it on here, and I don't know why. I'm gonna have to go to a phone store and see why is the AirPod not syncing up with me. I'm trying to use the AirPod, and I can't do it tonight. So
You know that you want to hear the sad part is every time my technology goes down, I have to have my daughter fix mine too.
yeah, my daughter has to fix mine. It's just my earpods; they're not in sync, and I don't know why. Give me a second. I'm gonna fix something here, folks. We're back. I just was fixing something here. We'll see if my earpods work. If they don't, I'll bring it to the store, but I'm not worried about it. As long as I can hear everybody. This is CmdrAleon. Welcome to the show. James Rockefeller. I know how to work my my system here, but for some reason, the technology, I have everything think it's paired up, and it's not working. So I'm going to take these off because they don't want to work, and it's just a weird thing. So the green light's working, everything's set up, and the commander knows what the commander's doing. So the AirPods will just stay the way they are. We're not taking any guests tonight. We're talking regarding our Ashtar Command Special, and in a few minutes we'll have Friends of Furries April back on with me here. Voice of One, welcome to the show, and Jane and everybody else coming in here.
Yeah, my phone is being really special today. I don't know what's going on.
Say again.
Oh, my phone is having issues. I'm on my
Yeah.
other phone now because my my other that phone is completely overheated right now, and I don't know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't. It's been acting up a little bit, but I mean, it's got a full charge to it. It's
Yeah.
like feeling like it's overheated.
Yeah.
But
No worries. When it underheats, then we can see what
yeah,
happens
give
with
it
it.
a little
But
bit, of time to
give it
cool
some time
down.
to rest. It's been all over the universe, so it needs time to cool down.
Yeah. I
But
was up in the mountains today, and I was trying to actually do a live up in the mountains
oh,
today.
really?
Yeah, I wanted to show people the energy up there, and the energy was so strong up there today that I really thought that there was going to be a ship that came overhead, because that's the feeling that I got. That didn't end up happening, but the energy that I was getting from the old woods that I was in was, and it's a frequented UFO landing spot that's in my
Yeah.
mountains. And there was another one that I was at too, but the energy that was there was just so immensely strong, like maybe a ship had just left from there. I'm
Yeah.
not for sure, but the energy was really strong up in the mountain today, and I was trying like heck to get that live to come up, and I just could not get service up there. It didn't
Wow.
matter. I was up there for 45 minutes trying to get service, and I just couldn't get service. It would
Wow.
pop in, and then it would just stop, which
That's
isn't.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
it was really
And
weird.
just let people know we have a lot of different people in here. I know there's a lot of new faces. I want to give April a chance to let people tell a little bit about your background, April, how we met. A few of us here met through TikTok, but
Okay.
just how when we met last year, which was amazing in its own right. But tell us about your connection with what we now call the Ashtar Command, and your connection in the mountains up in really the northern part of Vermont near the Canadian border in the mountains, how the contact proceeded for you, when it started, and a little bit about your background and how you've been on the ship now over 13 times. I think it is now
Yeah.
13.
Yep. 13
So
times.
for a lot of you that are new here, this is my friend April. And there's a number of us that are working really closely together here. We're all in this northeastern area. There's at least 5 of us. We'll get to that a little bit later. But let me introduce April. She can talk about, as a contactee in the truest sense of the words, a positive contactee, what's going on, how things started, and how we all connected here through this medium.
So about a year and a half ago now, I had never been on TikTok before. I've heard of it, but I thought it was just like some kind of kid or hookup app or something like that. I didn't really know much about TikTok, honestly. And then I had seen my sister watching these kind of cool videos, so I was like, oh, okay, that's what it's about. So my daughter helped me download it, and this very same day I downloaded it, got, set up my little name and all that stuff. I started scrolling through TikTok, and like the third thing I scrolled up on was the Commander show. It was the middle of the night. I couldn't sleep. I'm like, oh, so I decided I was going to watch some little videos. So I scroll up, I see the Commander show. immediately drew my attention and he had a couple guests up and they were talking about contacts, and I think James was up and he was talking about Bigfoot, and so it drew my attention. And now I had at this point been having experiences most of my life with fairies, cryptids, most of that stuff. Um, and I, for years, dove into a lot of the wrong things, trying to figure out what I was, who I was, why I was able to see these things, and other people couldn't see these things. I didn't know what was wrong with me, honestly. But at this point, like, I had already kind of figured out that, what it was I was seeing, and had been in contact with cryptids and fairies for, at this point, years. But I never talked about it to anybody because you always get the, that you're crazy nonsense.
Right.
So I never talked about it. And then I gained a few followers, and I wasn't even quite up to 200 followers. And I had made a comment in the command. I don't know why I commented, but I commented. And as the commander does what he does, he's like, "Oh, let's help get her up there so we can get her up here and hear a story." So, he got me a couple of extra followers. So I was able to come up on audio. And then I got up and he made me feel so comfortable. But here's the weird thing, guys. I was immediately drawn to the commander for whatever strange reason, was immediately like felt, not because of his communication skills, not because of his, all the stuff that he knows about radio and all that, not for his interviewing skills, but felt connected to the commander for some strange reason. I always get these strange feelings that I have known somebody before or have been connected with somebody before, and usually it's true for whatever reason. It's one of my gifts, but I at the time, did not really realize that was one of my gifts. So connected to the commander, and then when we started talking, he immediately made me feel comfortable, and he coaxed me out of my my UFO closet, I guess you want to
Yeah,
say.
I did.
He
I
coaxed
coached
me
me
out.
out of it.
He did. And so I started talking about my fairies, and it ran from there. But even the commander, like, we were just like, we could have probably just kept going on with the show for hours because we were so in sync with each other at that. But even with the very first time he had brought me up, like, we were just back and forth, back and forth. And the conversation was like we were old friends, like we had known each other forever. And then pretty soon I started becoming like a regular, like, thing in the commander show whenever anybody had a question about a fairy, or because I have all this like information that I didn't know like what to do with, but now I know I'm supposed to share this information with other people. But this was all because of me being comfortable around the commander. So he had asked me about UFO experience, that I have
Yeah,
any,
I did.
and I was like, well, now that you mention it, like, I'm pretty much having these things daily. Like, I see ships all the time out here. And I think he was kind of in a little bit of disbelief about how much activity there was up here,
At
because there
first,
was
yeah,
a
it was
lot.
not that I didn't believe it happened. I
Yeah.
just couldn't believe there was like all this stuff going on with this person.
Right. And then he was like, he was in disbelief, and then he started like looking at my videos, and then I started sending him stuff, and he's like, "Oh my goodness, like, this lady's got all this stuff going on here." So like it started to become a thing, like every day there was something going on. And anyways, then this one weird thing happened. I was outside and I had taken my dogs out, and I was getting ready to actually take my dogs out, and I open up my door, and there is a 7 or 8 foot tall person standing at my door. And those of you, now you guys all know that I live up in a mountain, and there's like, I don't have really close neighbors, and nobody ever comes up the mountain, so I would not
Yeah,
have just
she's
like
far
at
up there.
3 o'clock in the morning, somebody randomly standing at my door. So I got immediately freaked out and slammed the door, because I was like,
Slammed the door, and you know
slam.
what? And April not only slammed the door, yeah, but because she slammed the door on one of her space people from the Ashtar Command that actually went up to a door. Now, understand, she's in the mountains in northern Vermont near Canada. She slams the door on a human, just like us, who comes up to a door physically. Now, understand, she's not in like a suburban neighborhood where a whole bunch of people will see this. They come up to a door, and she opens the door and slams the door on the space person, and then she opens it again, and they're gone.
Right. Right. So I opened the door and I was not expecting to see a person standing there, more or less a 7 or 8 foot tall person standing there, because he was way past my door frame. And I look up and I was like in disbelief, and my immediate reaction was fear. And I slammed the door. And then I thought about it for a second. I knew who this person was. For some reason, I knew who this person was. I didn't know exactly who he was, but I knew who he was. It was the strangest feeling. And when I realized what I had done, I immediately slammed open the door. They were gone. They were gone.
Yeah.
They weren't having nothing to do with it. I just slammed the door in this poor space being's face. They were like, "Yep, bye." So they left. They weren't, didn't see him. And I was like, I yelled out the door. I was like, "No way, come back." Like all
Yeah.
hysterical, "Come back," you know.
Come back.
No, but they didn't. So 3 days, and I'm scratching my head, and I'm like, I'm immediately to the commander. "You're not gonna believe this. I just slammed a door in this
Yeah, I
person's
always
face."
remember that you slammed the door on one of the space people, but
Right. And I'm just like, I'm in disbelief that this just happened to me. And I'm just like, "You're not gonna believe this, blah, blah, blah," you know. And he's like, "You did what?" And I was like, "Yes, I slammed the door in their face." And they're like, "They didn't come back." I'm like, "No, I can't believe it." 3 days later, guys, 3 days later, I'm outside, and I'm on my porch. But I'm standing, I'm actually outside. My dogs are running amok out there, and I'm always out there filming something or talking to the fairies. And it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm a night owl. I'm always up late at night, and the fairies are most active at night, so that's when I'm getting my best footage. So I'm outside and I'm filming and I'm talking, and all of a sudden this it looked like a energy droplet of water comes down and sets softly on my grass, and it doesn't like break away or anything. Um the ball starts coming to me, and like it looked like feet were walking in it, and I could make out a figure in it. And then the it comes right up to me, and then immediately like melds away, and there's a space being there, and it's a gentleman. And he is about 7 foot tall, 8 foot tall. He comes over my railing. Now my it takes 8 steps to get up to the top of my porch. So we're 8 steps high, up on my porch, and I'm standing on this porch, and my chest, or the railing, comes up to my waistline, and this being is standing there, and he looks at me, and he introduces himself, but he didn't say "your father" or anything like that, but he said his name was Knockanook. And he reaches out his hand, and I was like, I wasn't letting him go this time because I slammed the door in his face and he disappeared.
right,
So he
the first
reaches
time.
out his hand, and I grabbed his hand like immediately, like the death grip on his hand, and I walked him around the railing. We walked down, and we stood there, and we chatted for a few minutes, and he basically was said that I had work to do, and that they would be back to visit me. And there was, I don't remember how the exact full conversation went, but went along those lines. And then he ended up leaving. I didn't go with him that first time. I did not go with him that first time. The third time that he came to me, I did go with him, though, and we physically walked onto this picture. I'm not going to go over every single like
Right.
visit, but
And
what I am
also
going to
just
say,
can you get your camera on so people can see you, or you're like, are you able to do that? Is that a possibility?
it is a possibility, but I look crazy right now, so because I've been crying all day. So
Oh no.
it's been like I wasn't even going to come on the show tonight because I've been having like a really, I'm sorry, I'm like, I don't want to ruin the show, but I've been
No, we don't
having,
do it. But okay, I understand. So
yeah, I've
just
been having a
for
super
tonight
emotional
anyway.
day.
Next Friday we'll have you on the camera.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
wanted to figure out what was going on. You're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I'm kind of, my eyes are a little swollen right now, and I
No
really shouldn't have
problem.
been on my camera earlier, but yeah, I've been
You're
having a
doing good.
all day. But anyways, so, I don't want to like get into the whole, like every single
Right.
contact I've
We
had
don't need
feel,
to.
but, so as the contacts that were going along, each time that they would come and get me, they were taking me to share information with me. And the first time I went with them, they had talked to me about the commander. The commander was the first one that was I was told that was part of my team. They said I had a team of people that were to put together, and that we had a mission to do, and we had actually two missions to do. One part of the mission was that we as a team, and at first we thought it was just me and the commander, and we didn't know that there was anybody else in the group until later on, but we thought that it was me and the commander, and that we had mission to do, and we have this one specific mission that we cannot talk about to other people, but
Right. Okay.
the other mission is that we are to be a part of when big contact does happen, that our team is to usher humanity into the new shift, the new change, and we are to, in the meantime, start helping wake people up, to share love with people, to help people not be afraid of these beings when they do come, and to share our story, which has been like being exposed to us little by little. With every contact that I have, I bring back new information for the team, and the team like shares it with all their people, and I share my stuff with all you guys, and then it
Yeah.
kind of this story has been just unfolding, and people have been following the story from the beginning, of what has been going on with us, and as we've been going on, like the space people, which, mind you, the original contacted space people were my family, which was Knockanook and Azriela, which is my mother and father,
Right.
my true space self, and my family is, my father is Knockanook and my mother is Azriela, and then the commander's space family is Robar and oh my God,
Luna.
Luna, is his
Thank you, River Blue.
space mother and father, and our families are super, super close.
Very
The
close.
command,
It's like not only are they super close, but they before we came to Earth. And again, I've been getting downloads of information for years with the Ashtar Command. I've been working with the Ashtar Command when I met my friend Athena, who's in LA. I met her through Sedona Journal, and I was going to sing with a friend of mine who used to live in Connecticut, who channeled Bashar. That was the only channel. He was like the East Coast channeler of Bashar. Daryl Anka was the West Coast, who'd been doing this for years before there was internet. And I said to Bashar, I said, I need to know who Ashtar is. This is before all the internet stuff and everything existed, and TikTok and all this. I said, I need to know who this Athena is. So I got in contact with this woman, and it relates to what we're talking about. And that was my first understanding of Ashtar Command when I met Athena. She had TikTok. Everybody loved her. She's in her 70s. I call her the Cosmic Mom. I know, April, you'd love her. And she's just this beautiful person. She's been all over the world, in India and everywhere. And she's just amazing spirit and soul. And that's how I found out about Ashtar. Now, as time went on, our cosmic family, what April's talking about is that we have cosmic family, right? And our cosmic family is not our biological mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and aunts and uncles, but we actually, beknownst to us, if we finally wake up to the fact that we have parents that are star people, men and women that are very beautiful, beautiful people that are from other planets that are coming back to reconnect with those of us here who are not only having Earth-based parents, but you also have parents that are cosmic family off planet, which is what April's getting into. So we have very specific star family, and then there's a general definition of star family, which is that our family from the stars are many different beautiful people from other planets, but you also have specifically, and this is more specific what April's talking about in the story here, is that we have we have a close family, April and I, that are off planet on the spaceship that known each other for a long time. Let's put it that way. So I'm gonna let her continue, but I'll give some more narrative how this all relates in a beautiful synergy of energy, and how this all kind of connects with a number of people that we have in our that are part of the Northeast group of this contingence, but how others have in our group family that are from other planets on the spaceship too. and it's a beautiful story here on Ashtar Command Q&A. But I'm going to switch it back over to April and just give you kind of swing into, because I didn't even know who Ashtar Command was or Ashtar
Right.
until I got older.
I had no clue who they were until I had heard the commander speaking on them. And then when I had my first contact, then I knew who they were because they were part of the space crew that had came and taken me on the ships. It was Ashtar Command. They had identified themselves. They were in their Ashtar Command uniforms when they met me, and every time since then that they have come and gotten me on some official matter of one thing or another, they are always in their uniforms. Um, I was also told along the way that protection would be put into place because of the significance of our group. That they had actually sent Mikey, which is a space being that I have been in contact with, and I've got tons of video of him. And he's my actual protector. And Mikey has become somewhat a little bit famous because he's been in a lot of my videos. And so Mikey is one of my protectors, and they later on gave me Lily as well. And she's also another, and these are living entities that I have been here protecting me for a very, very long time. Mikey has, and then they ended up giving me Lily because of the amount of activity there is in my mountain. And there was a couple of negative experiences that had happened in my mountain that they felt like I needed more protection, especially for my family. So they ended up giving me Lily as well. So now I have Mikey and Lily who are here protecting me, and then each and every one of us that are in the group also has Ashtar Command posted at our homes. I have 4 that are in my home as we speak, and 8 that are out on my property, and several of them that are in my woods. The commander has 4 that are in his home posted right now as we speak. He has 4 Ashtar Command people in his home that are cloaked. And Kit Kat and Johnny also have the same. And they also have their own Mikeys of sorts. They have different names for theirs, but they have the Mikey beings that are there looking out for them as well, protecting them and their families.
Right. And that's one of the important thing is the reason why we have 4, and I know there's 4 in my particular home, is that they are there to assist us, protect us, you know. And normally, if one of the 4, when I'm live, if I feel a breezy energy, I'll usually know that they're probably in the room sitting down watching what we're doing here. And so we won't see them constantly or like visually all the time, but they are here with us. And they are, like April said, each of us, Johnny, who's one of my moderators, Kit Kat, myself, and April, we all have 4 of the space people with us all the time in our homes.
And Chesno as well. I can't forget
And
Chesno. I'm
Chesno
so
too, yeah.
sorry about that. Chesno is our latest. He's our 5th. And he was just announced. We just found out about Chesno about a month and a half ago. We found out that Chesno was our 5th. We thought for the longest time that it was just our first. We thought it was just me and the commander. Then it was announced that Johnny was part of our group. Then Kit Kat, and then we found out about Chesno later on. And sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to make sure that we didn't forget Chesno and their
No, we can't forget Chesno. So there's 5 of us: Chesno, Johnny, Kit Kat, April, and myself in this particular grouping. And with Chesno and all of us together, we have 4 of the space people with us, protecting us all the time. If they needed to do anything and we were under any danger, we would be well protected. So just to let you know that, and this grouping of 5, we can't. There's certain things we can't tell you yet because we just can't. But there are things that we can tell you. That's why we're doing these Friday night specials to teach people about the Ashtar Command, about things that are specific to the public that they need to know regarding contact with us, with our space family, meaning the galactic family, the star beings of light, that this is going to be happening. And we're on our way to it, no matter how crazy the world is right now, and it is a little bit crazy. But I can tell you that we are going into a better place, even though it seems pretty weird on Earth right now. We are going into a better place.
Right. And then the other thing, guys, is go take a look at my page. I do have postings so you can see pictures of the Ashtar command guards that are posted at my home. They have actually, and it was an accident the first time it happened, but now I guess they're okay with you guys seeing them because they have been now pretty regularly showing themselves through rifts. And there's because I live on a very special land, and I was explaining this earlier on my lives that I did not realize how special that this land was. That when I was up in the mountains earlier today, I discovered that my land is covered with natural quartz crystal everywhere.
Wow.
Did not realize that. I guess I wasn't open enough to that until today when I went up there. I was like, I did not realize how much natural crystal there is actually just poking up out of the ground all over my mountain.
Really?
It's actually quite something. See, I posted, I got several videos of it. It's just everywhere out here. But they are able to access rifts in time and space. So what they do is they will open up a like rip in time and space that they can come through from wherever they are at, and they can come through it physically and show themselves if they so choose to. And so I was able, like at one time, I was doing a video of the fairies, and I was playing some music. And my fairies love to dance to music, and I discovered with the delayed lighting app here on TikTok that you can it actually shows their bodies, it shows their form, so other people can physically see them. So every once in a while, when I'm doing a live, if I'm doing it at night, I will turn the lights off, play some music, and then put the delayed lighting on,
Right.
and you guys can see them dancing with me. Quite by accident, there was a time when the Ashtar Command actually ended up showing up. My dad showed up, and I thought he was just, showing up to dance with me and to let the people see him on my
Right.
video. Because they monitor all our shows that we do, mine and the commanders, and any communications that any five of us have with the phones or whatever, it's always being monitored. They're always
Oh, yeah.
looking to protect us. And so I thought that they were just coming through, to let the people see him, and my father to put in a special appearance and to dance with me. He did dance with me for a second, but then he tapped me on the shoulder and said it was time to go. He
Time to
actually
go.
took me off planet while I was on my live. So I
Yeah,
mean,
I remember that too. Yeah, and what April's talking about is very true. If you're new to what we're talking about here, April has, her father is on the spaceship. Her mother's on the ship. She has family members on the ship as well. And so she does a live. All of a sudden, they're not worried. They don't care about the live. It's like it's time to go. April, we're going on the ship, and I'm going to let her continue the story. But it's very interesting.
so he taps me on the shoulder, and I literally had to end my live like right there. I had to drop my phone, end my live, and leave with them. And I was beamed through my window, and this all like happened, like it happened on my live, and there was I don't know, like almost 100 people in my room watching the fairies dance. And the Ashtar Command shows up, says, yeah, we got to go.
We're
And so
going.
I had to leave the live to go on the ship and go on a journey, but everybody witnessed this happen. But this is the kind of strange stuff that has been going on, and like our whole group has been sharing this journey with everybody. Like we have been sharing this journey and talking about everything. We've been very open and sharing what has been going on with us. And so the way the Ashtar Command has it right now is they have the world grid in a grid. So they have it gridded off almost like a map, and in each grid has a set of five people that are like ourselves, a group of five people that are star seeds, and our actual physical starseed bodies are on a waiting ship. So we are our actual starseed selves. are in cryostasis on these ships, and we were put into these human bodies to learn how to live like a human, learn how to be a human, learn to live the human experience. So when big contact does happen, that we will be able to help usher the humanity into the new world, into this
Right.
new shift, into the new paradise that is going to be happening. And so our bodies are up there waiting for us, but we right now are living in our human bodies, living the human experience. And, after the human bodies are done and we are done living our lives and learning the lessons that we have to learn down here, we will be going back up to our bodies. If we choose to come back down and live another human life, we can. If we want to go back up and go back to our star seed selves and go live our star seed life, we can. Star people live for hundreds of years, guys.
Yeah.
Human beings only live for 89, 90 years tops. So space beings are hundreds of years old, and they don't look, and all of them look like they were in their early 20s, and they are all beautiful. Most of them
And
are pretty
And
beautiful.
also, like, what April, what you're saying is about our bodies in stasis. So if you're not familiar with what stasis means, and it's interesting, April, when you say that, because my friend Athena years ago, when Ashtar would speak, he would she never channeled. He would just come right through her in her physical form, an overlay or whatever you would call it. I didn't understand any of that back then, but there's also a thing called an overlay. It's not channeling; it's where they can overlay into the physical body, and he would speak, and he said he would say that the bodies are in stasis. He says, Athena would say, "Oh, your body is on the spaceship in stasis, and the bodies are floating in stasis, and then you'll eventually go back to your space body when you complete your mission. You have the option, like you're saying, to go back to your space body." So April's her space body, mine, Chesno's, and Johnny's, Kit Kat's, and anyone else out here, you have a body in stasis, which is your space body, which is alive and being well protected. While you're living on Earth, you're living in this form. If you are awakened and you now are getting downloads, you're remembering who you are. So when you were mentioning stasis, April, I thought it was interesting to expand on that a little bit so people understood that they do have a space body in stasis that's on a spaceship.
And that's the thing, guys. And somebody in here is saying that they have had 990 lives. I believe you, because you might not have learned the lessons that you wanted to, or you may love humanity so much that you keep choosing to come back. But either way, your space body is up there waiting for you. My second trip with these beings was to actually go and see our bodies in stasis. They showed me mine. They showed me the Commanders. They showed me Johnny's. They showed me Kit Kats. They also showed me Chesno's. I seen a few others, but we won't get into that. But they showed me, and the like specific, like we're called chosen star seeds. That's what the groups of five are called, chosen star seeds. And this isn't something we chose. This is something
Right.
that
We can make it up.
the why am I brain farting what the heads are called?
You're talking about the commanders, the council.
Council, yes, the council.
Okay,
I
there's
can't
a
think of what the
council.
word was all
Yeah,
day I've been doing this. But the council, the head of all, like all the heads of of the planets, are all together in a council, and they represent, they're part of the universe, they're part of the planets or whatever, however they choose to do this. But there's a head council that oversees all the good space beings of light, all the Christed beings of light, all the higher vibrational beings. These are all positive, good beings of light. These are space beings. My family are angelic. Commanders are Palladian, and Johnny's is angelic, and Kit Kat is Palladian. Um, Now, they have the chosen star seeds kind of separated from the regular star seeds. They have them, like, it's weird. They have them all like kind of sectioned off. Like they have the chosen star seeds, like they're in smaller rooms that are like the five people that are in that group are together in stasis, and then
thank
they
you,
have
Julie.
then they have another room where they keep like the healers, the light workers, the people of importance that are helping wake people up, helping heal people, helping just do good here on earth. And those people are in a specific room. And so they have all these space beings are on this ship, and it's called a waiting ship. There are several of these ships, and these ships are heavily protected. And they every 30 days, these ships are so protected that they call it the moon cycle. So every moon cycle, which is every 30 days, the ship is moved secretly, and it's kept off. It's not even kept in our dimension. They keep these ships dimensional, like they'll put it from dimension to dimension to keep these ships protected and well hidden, so that nothing disturbs or bothers these bodies that are
Mm,
waiting for their consciousness to come back to them.
mm.
It's
Yeah,
quite
and
cool.
it's really true. And I wish we have a question. If anyone has a question for April and me, Truth Teller has a question. What's your Truth Teller? I see you. Can you tell us what your question is? Oh, Palladian. I think it's saying Truth Teller Palladian. Is your question about the Palladians, Truth Teller? Um, I'm not sure what their question is. If anybody has a question for April and me, as we're here on Ashtar Command Q&A, River Blues, you have a question. Go ahead. River Blue has a question. Truth Teller is going to type something else. So go ahead, type it, and we'll Goo Rocket. Thank you for the roses.
I think.
And we're going to get a question from River Blues.
Oh, Commander, did you pin your goals while we're speaking?
You know what? I did not do that. Well, I didn't pin it, but I have goals.
He's like, I
I
have.
do. And also, thank you for the gifts, everybody. Please show your support for what we're doing here. We appreciate it very much. And also, you can send some gifts to Friends and Furries April, to both me and April tonight. Please do so. Jackie, thank you so much for that.
Excuse me.
Um,
1 second, okay?
let me just do this here. Cliff, thanks for getting sent to Friends and Furries. And you can send gifts to both of us tonight equally. And I know April will certainly appreciate it. So definitely. And I'm going to get to the questions here. Oh, Linda Lovely is asking, April, how did you come to live in Vermont from California? And also another question is, do they drink tea? I'm sure April will be back. Unless they take her on the ship during the live, she'll be back.
No, I had a cat meowing like, "Thank you so much for the corgi." I come in, there's a corgi butt.
uh,
My cat, I have a cat that had babies, and she was in there feeding the babies, and
oh,
she was screaming because she wanted out. So she's like, "Now, right now!" I had to let her
let's
out.
see. I'm trying to. River Blues says, I have a question. Let's see. I know that Zoom says, do they drink tea?
Yes. They drink tea, they drink tahar juice. I know we joke around about the tahar
They
on here,
do.
but the tahar is actually, for those of you who don't know, it's not just a funny word that the commander uses, but the tahar is actually a beautiful flower that they grow in abundance in their gardens that they use to feed themselves. But it's a orangish flower with a ball on the bottom of it, and it has a pretty thick, hardy stem to it. And this flower, when you squeeze that ball, will put out this like metallic, like juice substance, and you can drink this juice, and it tastes like because I've had some. It tastes like the sweetest part of the pineapple that you could taste. Like when you bite into the heart or the juiciest part of a pineapple. That's what the juice tastes like. It is very sweet, very rich, and it is really good. But it is an actual plant, and then the stem of it they use for healing. The juice that comes from the or the fluid that comes from the stem when you break it open and squeeze it, there's a
Yeah.
milk like substance that comes out that they use for healing. It's actually a beautiful plant because these space beings would prefer to use natural healings, like herbs and things like that, or things that they grow on their planets, to heal with than the med beds that everybody keeps talking about.
Right.
They really don't use the med beds a whole lot unless it's for something like major, unless it's for something major. But they do most of their healing naturally with their herbs and
This,
plants that they grow.
and with the stem of the tahar plant. So the tahar itself tastes like a very sweet pineapple, but the stem on the same plant, the stem is used to heal. So if you have a cut and you put some of that liquid from the stem on your skin, it will what, April? It will heal.
It'll heal it immediately. It seals
Hmm.
it, closes it, and it's like that cut was never even there. You have no scar, nothing. It just heals it immediately. I watched them do it because my mother showed me this. She took her fingernail and she cut her palm of her hand open. Then she took this tahar stem and she squeezed it, and this like milky substance came out of it, and she dropped it onto this cut, and it like sealed it, like immediately. It sealed it. There was nothing there. There was no nothing. It just healed over immediately. Like
Yeah.
second, it was done. It was healed. That's the healing power that their plants have. It's crazy how how much their plants they rely on for healing stuff.
And I've got a question for you from Linda. I'm going to catch up with all the questions. So if I haven't gotten to your question, take a deep breath. We'll get to it. You're watching Ashtar Command Q&A tonight. My guest is my friend and sister in Northern Vermont, April. And Friday nights is our night to usually share with you an information. You take your questions about the Ashtar Command, about what's happening with our space people on the ship who are now making contact. Everything we're talking about is real. The contacts are real. April and I don't channel anything. We don't have pendulums. We don't have crystal balls or any of those things. Everything you're hearing tonight is like watching a TV series on FX or on Hulu or something. But this is real life stories. This is real life information we're giving you, and so it's very different. Um, eh, Linda says, April, how did you come to live in Vermont from California?
My I came to Vermont because my son was hit by a drunk driver in California and was paralyzed. We weren't getting the help that we needed in California, and my sister had married a man in the military, and she kept telling me how family oriented it was down here, how beautiful it was up here, and that I needed to come out here. And when my son was capable of traveling, we moved up here immediately, and I loved it so much down here. I never went back. Well, I did go back a few times, but I mean, I've made Vermont my home,
Yeah.
and he did get the help. My son is has a job and is functioning, and he does extreme biking, owns his own home, the whole nine. So my son got the help he needed from down here.
And David Boylan says the Astrogalactic Command are commissioned by the Galactic Federation, but under intergalactic confederation structure to free planets under Codex. That's the person just sharing with us, who I feel is probably connected in that. And I'm just trying to catch up with questions here. Stormville says, sounds beautiful. Um, And we'll take any questions you might have for April and myself on here tonight. This is a special night. Every Friday night is special.
Somebody,
So we would definitely, oh, he answered. If you were blue, the other person, oh, your person was answered. Okay. But if you wish to have a question for us, we definitely will attempt to answer your questions out there.
somebody kept
Oh, your
asking
question.
asked why I keep going to the hospitals down here if they have this kind of healing power. Because I was informed that they because they cannot interfere with our human existence and our human experience, that I was meant to go through what I'm going through with my leg. And I'm trying not to blow up my mom's spot, but my mom did come and heal the infection in my leg. I am just having some problems now with swelling in my leg, but the infection piece of it is gone.
And
Um,
I would say, April, there's definitely a backstory to this about your mom coming to heal you for people watching this, and you publicly talked about it on your own live, so it's not
I
like it's.
really
I
haven't gone
think
through it too
why don't we
much.
give a background as to how you were healed of the infection? I think people need to know. Number one, the doctors didn't heal anything, so this is going to be very important to understand of this infection and what happened, how this whole happened. So I think this is a beautiful story here to share.
So, May or let's see, 3-1. I was working and I got stuck in my leg with a pretty dirty nail at work. I was pulling a pallet, and one of the it was in a stack of pallets, and I had to pull the top pallet. And when I was doing that, I leaned into the pallets and I grabbed that top one and I went to go throw it down. When I did that, I my leg got stuck with a dirty nail that was sticking out of a piece of wood, and it went all the way into my leg, almost hitting my bone. 3 days later, after I cleaned it up and did all that, put a band-aid on it and washed it whole nine. 3 days later, an infection started happening. I got really dizzy, ended up going to the ER because I was running a fever and pretty sick. Since then, the infection has been there. They are at a loss to what is wrong with my leg because this infection just will not heal. They have had me on probably, I would say, 14 different oral antibiotics that have not worked. The only thing that they have found that did work was IV antibiotics, which I had to be put into the hospital to receive. Several people throughout this whole thing of my leg being infected have asked why isn't your family healing you if they have this capability? And what I was told, because I never asked and they didn't know what was happening with me as far as my leg being infected, I kept it pretty much under wraps. Not even you guys knew what was going on with my leg because I didn't want anybody to worry about what was happening. I figured the oral antibiotics would take care of it and that would be that, but this thing kept being persistent so much, so I landed in the hospital a couple of times because of it. I finally got tired of being sick and tired and my leg hurting. I asked my father why they had to have known by now that I was having an issue with my leg, why they didn't heal me. And I was told that I was meant to, it was part of my human experience, and I was meant to go through this for whatever reason. They were very vague as to why I had to go through this, but I kind of started figuring it out later on, that I was meant to go through this because I was meant to be in the hospital when I was in the hospital, because I was meant to bring specific people at the hospital together, which has happened. Um, and then I was in the hospital this last time and I was receiving the oral antibiotics, and my leg was getting better. And then the doctor, I don't know what was going on with her, but she messed around with my medicines and then tried to put me back onto oral antibiotics before my leg was healed, and my leg reinfected while I was at the hospital, and I was in an awful lot of pain, and I was crying that night because my leg was hurting, and I will not take any narcotics because that's
Sure.
not who I am. So I've only been taking Tylenol for the pain, even though my leg was 3 times the size of a normal leg, and I think my mother had gotten my
Your
space
mother.
was hurt by me being so sick, and um, while I was there in the hospital, a light came through the bathroom and the door handle was jiggling, and my mother had stepped through it the night before I was released from the hospital, and she walked through with this silver like cup link cup. I don't even know. It looked like a silver bracelet cup.
Probably a device of some sort. But the device had something to do with the other stuff she was going to do to you. But it sounds like to me, I was meditating on this, April. I think it was some sort of a device, a part of the healing thing, but the other thing was what actually did it. But go ahead.
So she comes with a silver looking it looked like a cup bracelet is what it looked like, and it had these
Mhm.
strange markings on it, and I remember every marking that was on it. But she had this thing in her hand and she walked through. She didn't say not a word to me, and that's not like my space mom, because my space mom is very talkative, and she loves to talk with me and have conversation with me, but she didn't say anything. And she also was alone, and she was also not in her Ashtar command uniform. She was in a dress, which I've seen her wear before, but it was only when she was on not in official capacity. So she was not in her Ashtar command uniform. She'd come alone, and she walked through quietly, didn't say a word. She had this silver cup in her hand, and she placed it on my leg, and then she pulled this vial out of her waistband, and it had this fluid in it, and she pulled back my ace bandage, dropped this fluid on my leg directly over where it was the most red, and then she put the vial back in her waistband, and then took the cup off my leg, and then walked alongside of my bed, rubbed my cheek, kissed my forehead, silently walked back to the bathroom. A light goes like really bright light
Flashes,
flash
yeah.
back, and then I got up, and I'm still connected to an IV pole, mind you, and I
Right.
get up tripping. I'm trying to move all the stuff and unplug the IV pole and get to the bathroom. I open it up. She's gone. She's
Yeah.
gone. She didn't say
Completely
one
gone.
word. She kissed me, looked back at me before she closed that door, and then she was just gone. So I think
No,
that she came on her own, and I don't want to get her into any trouble, but I
no,
think
we don't
she
get into trouble either.
I
But
think she came on her own to heal me, and take the infection away. And because my father was very clear that I was to be going through this, it was part of my human experience. Just like when the commander had hurt his back, everyone's like, well, why don't they come heal him? Because he was meant to go through that for whatever reason. He was meant to go through that. It was part of his human experience. He was meant to learn something from that. So.
I've
Um,
learned a lot from that, by the way, that I went to the garden
Mhm.
the other weekend. I was feeling good. Like I had healed myself to the point where I was, good. I I was bending down on the soil. Everybody, I have a light garden. I call it the light garden, an Ashtar Command light garden. I grow different things organically, and I'm going there tomorrow. But I ended up the other weekend deciding to bend down on the knee to pull weeds under my grape plants, and in a way that was a mistake because I bent down on the knee that was hurting originally, and it came back. And so I've been not talking about it. I've been trying to walk it out and say it's going to go away. And I'm like, I'm the kind of person, and people know me. I do not let this kind of thing hold me back. So I've been doing physical walking to eventually say to myself, it has to stop. So related to what April's saying about healing, part of what happens when we have these experiences, yes, we're supposed to have them, but there's also a point where you say to yourself, okay, uh, I take responsibility to hear myself. In April's case, it was different. And her mom came on her own, as April was telling the story, and, and healed the infection. It was just a beautiful thing that happened that time
Yeah, so
in the
my
hospital.
infection is now healed, but the thing is that I'm still now having issue with swelling, so there's something else going on with my leg, and I have no clue what it is. I have
Yeah.
several different doctors involved with this whole situation, but the infection itself is no longer there. The doctors came in and were patting themselves like they were masters of the universe. They were like, they thought that they had
Right.
screwed up my antibiotics, and they thought within an hour of my leg was 3 times the size it should be, completely beat red. The hole had come back in my leg where the original nail had went through. I mean, it was just deep, and they thought that with within an hour because my mother came around 5. I was on live until 4 o'clock in the morning that night because I couldn't sleep. I was hurting, so I went on live to take my mind off it. And we were, just I had the delayed lighting on while I was in the hospital, and I was showing them that the fairies came with me to the hospital, and a couple of stowaways came too in my overnight bag that my daughter had brought. So they were all up there, just dancing and saying hi to, because one of them absolutely loves Mary and was in there saying hi to Mary and flirting with her and stuff on the live. And I finally ended the live around 4 o'clock. They were administering my antibiotics because it takes 4 hours for them to be put through the IV with the timer. And so the first round of antibiotics had finally stopped around 4:30 ish. They came and took the IV bag off, disconnected me from the pole, and then I was going to lay down and go to sleep around 5 o'clock. My mother shows up, so this is like, I only had received one round of the antibiotics since my leg had been reinfected. So when they came in at 6 o'clock in the morning, so this is only a few hours. This is like an hour, okay? It's like
Right.
an hour. They thought that my leg, they had healed my leg. The hole was,
Right.
the redness was gone, and my leg was back to being skinny.
Yep.
Um, within an hour, and they thought that
Thank
they
you,
had
Laura.
done this. They were all patting themselves on the back. They could not believe it. They had not only come in at 6 o'clock, they took blood work from me. They did an ultrasound on my leg that morning, like that same time they came in. They took the blood. While they were taking my blood, they were doing an ultrasound on my leg, and the infection was gone. They could not figure it out why it was just gone. They thought they had done it, and they were just patting all themselves on the back. They couldn't believe it. It was a big deal. Like they were using me as a show and tell. They had all kinds of doctors coming in, saying, "Look what I had done," and it was a whole thing. Like they couldn't figure out how I was healed so quickly. And of course, I can't tell them. My space mom came in with her space stuff and healed me up, and within an hour, the infection was gone out of my leg. The hole had cleared, the redness was gone, and my leg was back to being skinny. So,
Yeah, and this is all true. This is because her mom came that night late, early in the morning hours, and did what she did, which healed the infection, which was a big deal. And now her leg is now from that experience. Your leg is not like expanded the way it was, correct?
it's the redness is gone. The actual infection itself is gone, but I'm still having an issue with swelling, and so that's become the thing now is the swelling. So they're at a loss as to why it keeps swelling. They think it's a whole thing, but I don't want to get into all that right
We
now.
will
But
get into that. But just know that her mom did come, and the essence of the story is that the doctors thought they had done something like a miracle, and they actually didn't do anything. It was her mom that actually used the natural remedy that healed her infection.
so so that's
And if you have any questions, folks, as we're speaking, April and I are here to help you with the Ashtar Command, share her story related to our star family. We'll be happy to answer and be patient. If I don't see your question, I'm trying to see it. So if you have a question and if for some reason TikTok is not letting us see the question, it could be filtered. But we are looking for your raised dollars and then didn't come. Truth teller raised dollars and then didn't come. What's that about, truth teller? I don't get how that's related to what we're talking about. But if you have a question regarding our space people, the Ashtar Command, and what's happening with it, we can certainly answer those questions about contact in the future, about all the different beautiful things that'll be happening. Scroll up to my question. I don't see a question. I see you said raise dollar and then didn't come. That doesn't look like a question, more of a comment. So I'm looking for the actual question. So can you refer what you're trying to say in a question format? And then I can kind of read. Is the Ashtar, it's actually Ashtar, Eric. It's ASHTAR command, the same as the Galactic Federation of Light. So they wouldn't be the same. The Ashtar Command is actually overseers of all the galactic levels. So, for example, on Earth, if you take the United Nations, within the United Nations, you have different countries, right? And within the United Nations, you have different councils or different groupings that deal with different things. Some deal with the planet's environment, some deal with other socio-economic issues. So look at the Ashtar Command as being the overseer, the Christed beings of light, the cosmic beings of light that oversee every other level. So there might be different councils, which April and I have talked about a little bit. There are councils within the Ashtar Command that operate for different reasons, unlike on Earth where there's more structural things and there's more more ego involved in Earth-based type structures. Within the Ashtar Galactic Command, it's basically different groupings. So there's different galactic groups within the Ashtar Command, sort of like a rainbow effect of different groups that do exist, but it wouldn't be like a federation, as you were saying. But it's actually ASHTAR, Ashtar, ASHTAR. Carol Suzuki says, have you met any children or infants on your visit? That's a good question, visits to the spaceship. Have you met any children or infants on the spaceship, April?
Sorry, my my mic. Yes, I haven't met them, but I have seen children on the spaceship. Yes, I've also seen a dog. I've seen two dogs when I was down in dimensional inner Earth. I've seen two dogs there, and then this last time that I had went on the ship, I actually saw a dog on the ship, and it was a golden retriever.
Yeah. There's a whole story behind that too.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
so I've seen children, yes, and I have also seen I've seen that the children are on the living ship, and that's the ship where they actually live on, and where they grow their food on, and where they have their living quarters on, the ones that are still living on the ship. So yeah, I have seen children.
Yeah. And also, let's see. I'm looking at people's comments. Maxim says, has anyone ever asked you, no, okay, you something about pics or videos of ships? So Maxim, she actually has posted pictures. Actually, I have some of them here of the ships. Let me, just for a moment, since you asked that question about the ships, I have some of the ships from April, and I will show one of them based on your question. Let me just let my thing pull up here. Hold on a minute. We'll show you one of the ships. Uh, here's a ship right here. What I'm going to show you here, I'll let April narrate this picture. Wait a minute, just to do this here. And if you want to see the full picture, you can. And April, give them an idea. This person's question, Maxim, was about the ships. This
Okay.
is at nighttime. What about when was this actually taken?
I have several pictures of ships if you go look on my page, but this is one of the ships that had come in, and it's originally started back by the mountains. I have back mountains of my woods, and this ship actually came in close. And then it had hovered above my yard, and I looked up, and I could see like the bright lights coming, and there was space beings in it, and they were all waving at me, waving their arms back and forth like, hey, look at us. It was actually kind of funny because they came through, they kind of stopped, they were waving at me, and then they took off. But this came in really close. Like I probably could have thrown a rock and hit the ship.
Yeah, it was that close. And you understand, she's in northern Vermont, near the Canadian border, in a very remote area. A lot of crystal energy, and as she said earlier, that she couldn't believe when she went out there to the area how many crystals are sticking out, quartz crystals, beautiful crystals. And this is one of the ships. This ship would be considered probably a mothership. It's a large ship, and you can see if you look closely that there are people looking out of the ship, and she's talking about them waving. They were
They
waving to her inside the ship through the window.
Commander, I would actually say this is like a medium-sized ship. This is like
A
more of
medium
a
size?
small.
Okay.
Yeah, but the mother, I have seen tons of motherships come through. I know that people say that there are only 7 motherships, but that's just simply not the case. There is so many more motherships out there than you could shake a stick at. They, because there are different beings coming in from all over the place as we speak. There have been some that have been here waiting for a very long time for the rest of the ships to show up, and there are also some that are coming in as we speak, and some that are still coming. And when they all eventually get here, there's going to be a lot more ships and stuff like that being seen. And then when everybody gets here, big contact is going to happen. But this right here, this is a mothership going over the top of my woods. I mean, this thing was huge, huge. It was traveling really low over the top of my woods. There was several smaller ships that were in my woods. All over the place, and I saw blinking lights, and I immediately started filming the blinking lights. And at first, I was like, "Oh, there's only a couple of ships in there." Then this huge mothership comes, and it was it exposed. At first, it was traveling in like a cloaked clouding, and then the cloaked clouding kind of went away, and dissipated, and then you could see this huge ship going through, the one with all the lights that's just above the darkness. The darkness is the top of my tree line, and then you see all these smaller lights that are in the tree line coming up out. All these ships, like probably around along the lines of 30, maybe more smaller ships, just come popping up out of my woods. There's several cleared landing sites in my woods that are in there are spots in my woods where there are circles of trees that, like, on the floor of the woods, like nothing big grows. You'll see like maybe some smaller like flowers or some smaller weeds, but nothing big grows in the middle of these trees. And these are landing sites for these ships when they come. These landing sites are kept clear by the Bigfoot beings and by the fairies for when these ships do come through, so they have a place to land their ships. And these are all over my woods. And I am not the only one down here that has these spots in their woods. There's also another creator in here, Mercury Man. He's also located in Vermont. We have a lot of the same experiences. He is also in contact with the Bigfoot beings and knows, that they've been helping and working alongside of the Ashtar Command. And the commander had actually helped Mercury Man with an infestation of what were they, Commander? The lizard beings?
Yeah, the actual reptilians.
Yeah,
So
reptilian.
I'm gonna get into this part of it. Let me just go back to where I was before. So I'm gonna share a story related to what April's saying. I used to live in the town in Vermont called Plainfield, where Mercury Man's from, and what I'm gonna do is share with you exactly. I think we're gonna get it. There we go. So when Mercury Man, who's in Washington County where I lived, he had reptilians that were in a cave in the woods. I know the area of Plainfield because it's mostly farms and a college and a nice little small New England town. I mean, when I say small New England town, Plainfield is not very big. And so he had reptilians causing problems, and they were in a cave in the woods underneath his house, of all things. So for people that don't know me, and April knows this to be true, I sent a spaceship over the area, very high up in the atmosphere over the Plainfield, Vermont area, an Ashtar command ship, and I am able to do that. And what happened is the time when he had this happen last year, I said, when I heard the story, I said, I have to do something. So I sent a spaceship there, and we sent Ashtar command people into the cave, and we actually, in a very peaceful way, we got all the reptilians out of the cave. We forced them off the planet where he was in Vermont, and we sent them on a one-way ticket back to where they came from. They can never come back. And this is a true story. April knows this because she knows I've told this story. And Mercury Man, who is in that area. After I did that and sent the space people from the command ship to get the reptilians off the planet, he told me afterwards the energy shifted, everything was good, there were no problems. So for people that know me, one of the things I'm activated in doing until I go on the ship, and I will be with Chesno and Kit Kat and Johnny and April, is that I've been downloaded the ability to actually bring a ship over a place. If I hear a story on here, and I have over the number of people I've done this to, it's all documented, that I've actually, if they had any negative ET experiences, we sent an Ashtar ship over to their location. And within whatever amount of days it took Earth time to do it, we've actually cleared the energy in their location and got the negative ETs off planet, sent out of the planet, and never coming back. So that's part of what I do. In my mission work, I've done this. April has seen me do it. She's been on my lives when it's happened. And I only do it when I need to do it. I'm not going to go doing it with hundreds of people, but I do it based on what I hear, based on what's happening with that person. And so I'll turn it back to April, but what she's talking about, Mercury Man, who's in Vermont, where I used to live in that town. And it's funny, I used to live in that town. I never knew that was happening. But I knew there was a lot of activity in that area, Plainfield. We always saw spaceships when I was going to school up there.
Yeah,
Always.
I mean, the spaceship activity down here in Vermont, and Mercury Man doesn't live too far from. I mean, he really doesn't live too far from where I live. And but I'm both he and I live in very mountainous areas, very private areas, perfect places for ships to come and land, interdimensional beings to have contact with us, and Mercury Man is now, he's been having contact with the Bigfoot beings as well. And for those of you who are new and do not know this, the Bigfoot beings actually work alongside of the Ashtar Command. And years ago, there was the Ashtar Command had actually freed the Bigfoot beings from negative, low vibrational beings that had these beings trapped and doing. They were just doing the most to the Bigfoots, abusing them and doing really negative stuff to them. And the Ashtar Commands and the good beings of light had enough of seeing the Bigfoots being abused, and so they came and rescued them and freed them from these negative, low vibrational beings. And the Bigfoot beings were so grateful that they were rescued and so happy to be, being able to have contact with these good beings that they like basically swore an oath to them. And so they now work alongside of and are friends with the Ashtar Command. So when these ships and stuff come through, because I'm in contact, and one of my best friends is a Bigfoot. His name is Pumpkin, and he has told me a lot about what happens with the Bigfoots and the good beings of light. And so what goes on is that the Bigfoot beings actually open portals so the ships that are traveling dimensionally can come through. So the Bigfoot beings that are, like, say in my mountains will create these sparks, which will start the opening of a portal. And then it takes about 4 or 5 Bigfoot beings, because these beings are extremely strong and they can physically put their hands into these sparks of light and pull these portals open wide enough for ships to come through.
Yeah.
And those are the good beings of light that are traveling dimensionally to get here to Earth to come and help us. So the Bigfoot beings have been doing this for a very long time. So if a ship's coming through, the Bigfoot beings are alerted. They'll open up the portal and then close it immediately so that nothing else comes through these portals. And if anything does, the Bigfoot beings are right on top of it, protecting those portals. But they've been working, and they even work on the ships with the Ashtar Command, the Bigfoot beings do. But they, and a lot of people got the Bigfoot beings wrong. They think that
Thank you, Rod. Big
they're
brother.
They are very kind. They have been here helping us all this time, but we just didn't know it. They just don't want to be bothered by humans because human beings have proven that they can't be
Thank
trustworthy
you,
and
Rachel.
capture one or, you know, do something that they're not supposed to be doing to one. So the Bigfoots have, kind of been defensive as far as, staying away from humans. Um, but a lot of people don't know that about the Bigfoots, that they've been working alongside. Same thing with the fairies and dimensional beings of that realm have also been working with the good beings of light, helping them too with the helping with the spaceships and keeping areas cleared for ships to land and things like that. So, yeah.
Right. So I do see Truth Teller's question, and I will answer that. So Truth Teller, before April 13th, she was raising dollars. Okay, so we're going to be actually having April down here on May 25th. She'll be getting down here a little bit earlier than that. So we had that night, it was really windy for us that were there. It was extremely windy, and it was really kind of a weird night with the weather. So we do have another event happening, Truth Teller, on the 25th. And we're going to be having our Ashtar Command gathering, and our group will be there. Matter of fact, I went to Ancient Aliens, the tour that they're doing, and my co-creator and his wife were actually there. It was a packed house. As we were going to leave, and we got some T-shirts, I see this tall person. I say, wait a minute, that's my friend Greg and his wife Elaine were there, and she was buying something from where they sell the merchandise and everything, and they just happened to be there. And I was going to be in touch with them anyway, and they were there. So Greg and Elaine, who were there on the 13th, they'll be with us. They're part of our coordinating group here of the Ashtar Command Contact Group. They will be with us, Truth Teller, on the 25th. So April will be, we'll be seeing April when she gets down here in Connecticut, and we're planning to make sure we take you out for pizza. Just to let you know, April, and your daughter. You know, but yes, so we're going to be redoing it, and so thank God, you know, the funds have been raised are being raised to make sure that she's able to. See, everything's already set in stone. She's got her hotel. She's going to be down here, and it's going to be a magical experience for all of us. And like I said, we're going to definitely take April to have some New Haven style pizza up here. And I think that's going to be pretty phenomenal too. But I did see your question. Thank you, Ashley, for letting us see the question. So that new event is again already publicized. It's on my YouTube channel, not my YouTube channel. It's here on TikTok. It's also on my Facebook channel, my Ashtar Command group locally on Facebook. I have an Ashtar Command C5 group, and people are not aware of what we're doing. We're having a very beautiful gathering. The weather should be way warmer than it was when we went out that date. It was just really, it was just crazy. But we're going to have a beautiful event, just to let you know, coming up on the 25th of May. If people in the region are interested and you're coming in a very centered love frequency, and you've got to be in a centered love frequency, we'd love to have you. You just have to email me at CmdrAleon@AOL.com. I'll give you more information about our Ashtar Command C5, which is going to be a visual experience. We're not going to be going on any ships or anything, but we are going to document all the visual stuff that happens that weekend. Just to let you know, that's coming up on Memorial Day weekend, which is kind of cool because it's a weekend when most people should be home or traveling or whatever they're doing. Hopefully that answers your question. Let me see here.
I saw that it says raise money, and then it wasn't that I wasn't planning on coming.
Right.
It was that I was in the hospital. I
Yeah,
actually put in the hospital because of my leg.
it was really bad. What happened to her leg. So now her leg's healing, which is a good thing. And her mother helped the infection, got rid of that. So everything's on a good flow with her body. It's her body will be well prepared, and so it'll be a good thing for her. Also, user 17 says, why do they? No, the Ashtar Command. Why? Well, let me more specific. The negative ETs don't kidnap anybody. Ha ha. Why do they kidnap people? Ha ha. They don't kidnap anybody, but there are beings that are not. There's no such thing as kidnapping a person on Earth. There have been people that have been abducted, uh, and that whole thing is basically stopped because the Ashtar Command again has come in and proceeded to stop. Plus, the lower vibrational ETs are not able to do that anymore. Just to let you know. Let's see, Commander April, does your space family live on planets also, or just ships? April, you want to take that question?
Yeah, my family lives on both. They live on the planet. Some of them live on planet, and some of them live on the ships. They're kind of spread apart. My mother and father are currently living on the ship at this moment because they travel around a lot and they have business all over the place. My sisters and brother posted at are posted on planet.
And also, real time, Paul, who I've had on my show, he says, I was visited again. I was visited again. Let's see, where is it? Let's see, I was visited again. Let's see here. Oh, they came to me. I went to the ship again and explained about the Earth. I think he's saying he went back on the ship. Johnny was on my show a couple of weeks ago. Um, he's a contactee. Uh, Truth. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Thank you, moderator, for doing that. Let me see. And No for Hire says, awesome. The door knocks. Okay. So I'm just looking at the people's questions here. I'm looking at your questions so that we can answer them, either April or I. If you do have questions for us, this is the Ashtar Command Q&A. Again, we have great moderators. If anyone's trolling, we will, no matter when I'm on, every TikTok has trolls on it. It's just the way TikTok is. We will block the trolls from our broadcast. That's what we do here. And we keep everything very positive. And trolls tend to do what they want to do. If you're a TikToker, I've been on other TikToks and they all have trolls on them. So, but we got everything under control about the trolls, just so you know. So again, like April was saying, some of our space, all our space family comes from planets, but because they're doing mission work away from their planets, um, they will live on what we call the living ship, which April has spoken about. That's the living quarters. And then there's the working ship, which April has spoken about. And that's the ship where all the mission work is done, right, April?
Yes. Yep, exactly. And if people don't know, these ships that I am talking about, all these ships are actually living entities. That was one thing that I was shown and I thought was really cool and thought I would share with you guys. They're not just, ships made of, technology and metal or whatever. They're actual living entities. When this last trip that I had went on, they had taken me over Easter Island, and because I was going to meet some Anunnaki people and or space beings, whatever you want to call them, I actually met some really nice ones, one in particular. But when I was there, we went. That's where I went to go meet them was a space station that is in a volcanic tube that is on Easter Island, but they took me around to go see the statues over there, and the ship knew that I wanted to see these statues, so it immediately cleared the floor, so it made the floor look like it was a giant window, and I could see the statues on Easter Island through the floor, but the ship knew that I wanted to see it, so it cleared the floor out so I could see the statues. It's like the ship just knew.
Now,
And
were you standing looking down with the floor at the bottom of your foot?
it was at the bottom of my foot, and it was another one of those whoa moments because I wasn't
Oh my
expecting it
gosh.
to happen. It
How
just
did you feel?
I
How did
done
you
it.
actually feel about that? You're standing there, the ship, transforms the floor into like a window space. I mean, you're not falling out of it, of course, but
Okay.
you must have felt kind of like, for me, I have a thing about heights.
Okay.
Um,
Clear your
you know,
mind. I know you can bring it in. Clear your mind and see what I saw. Clear your mind and
yeah.
see what I saw. You're gonna have a whoa moment.
And how high up were you on the ship, in the ship when you were looking at Easter Island?
We were probably about 200 feet up, and so I was like, so I because these statues are really huge, so you can see them really good from that far up. But we were probably about 200 feet up above them when we were flying around, because they showed me all of them. So we flew around the whole island.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
Yeah, so but it was, the floor went, it just whoop, it opened up like an eyeball, and yeah, I
Yeah.
did those whoa, where you feel like, because I thought I was gonna fall. I knew I wasn't, but it, like the human in me went to that. I thought I was gonna fall because I'm scared of
Yeah.
heights.
Yeah. 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 And I think, I know when I go on the ship, if that ever happens, like they open the thing under me so I can see space or whatever, I got to also remember that I'm not going to fall out of the ship, correct?
Right. No, they won't do that to you. I know
Good,
that
good, good.
because Johnny is connected with me. Johnny and I have this really strong connection emotionally. So
Hmm.
that same night that I went through that whoa moment, Johnny felt it. He was texting me the next day. He's like, "What is going on?" He's like, "I had this really bad anxiety that night." He said, I was like teared up. I almost wanted to cry, and I'm just like, he felt my emotions when I thought I was going to fall because it frightened me. So he was connected in with that and immediately was texting me the next day like, what happened?
What happened?
Right. And I had
Well,
anxiety because I got
I
scared
think,
and I thought I was going to fall.
and just to let people know, you're watching our special program every Friday night called Ashtar Command Q&A. We are trying to take really, any comments or things related to what we're talking about. We'll certainly, listen to. If we have any trolls coming here trying to be haha jokeable people, they will be haha in space in 2 seconds, just so you know. But other than that, so yeah, so I keep thinking about that. Like when I go on the ship, the first time I go on there, that's going to be a different experience for the physical body. When you first went on the ship and you were being taken to these places, you've had other times when they would open the windows up, so to speak. I call it windows, the ability to see space or things, correct?
Yes.
Have you had other, when they would just like, no, I call it a window, like they open the whatever it is so you can see clearly what's out there, correct?
Yes.
How'd that feel? I mean, are you used to that? I think that's one of the questions I sense people would ask. How do you get used to the fact that you can now see if they take the ship out of the planet somewhere, you looking into space, you just like can look out the window and see how beautiful the universe is, right?
Right. I mean, not every time that I've gone with them, I'm not like standing there looking out the window the whole time because they
Right,
have me doing different stuff.
right,
I just stay with them and listen to what they're telling me. Basically, I spent a lot of time in their plant rooms and their vegetation rooms, learning about how they grow things and stuff like that. So not every moment was like staring out the window watching space go by,
right.
but
Of
I
course
will
not.
tell
Yeah.
you that they did this last visit. They did take me up to the rings of Saturn because the ship knew I wanted to see the rings of Saturn, and that
What
was
was
one.
that like?
It was cool. It was really cool. Like we were right above, I mean, not hitting the rocks that were going around the planet, but just above them. And because I've always wanted to see that. That was something I've always wanted to see. And the ship obliged me and took me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just imagine, astronomer would be like, would love to see rings of Saturn, but they can only look through a telescope. You're right in the rings of Saturn. Was the spaceship protected as it was going through those rings?
It was, yeah, it's absolutely protected. But here's the thing though, is like each one of those rocks, it was weird because like I didn't expect to see this, but each one of the rocks that are floating around, like I thought they were all going to be red. That's just for starters. They weren't red. They
Right,
were all
right. They weren't
different.
red. Hmm.
Um, but each one of the rocks, it was strange because it when what I could see that they each one of the rocks had their own like little weird like gravitational pull to it. So each rock had all these little rocks that were like floating around each one of the big rocks. So it was like each rock had its own little gravitational pull with all these little rocks around it.
Wow.
And it kind of just kept expanding out to these like rings, and it was almost like there was a line put in between and all the way around. I don't know how to explain it. It's hard to explain, but
Yeah. Yeah.
so each big rock had all these little rocks floating around them. So it was like almost like each one had their own gravitational pull to it, and it was really cool because then they were all going in sequence together. They were all moving like around the planet, but you could.
Hmm.
It almost didn't seem like they were moving when you were sitting still next to them, but they
Yeah.
were moving. Strange
And
thing. It
now,
was
in
cool.
terms of Saturn, did they tell you anything about the planet Saturn? Like the planet itself, are there people on Saturn?
Yes, there are people on Saturn in the that are living underneath the planet. Not on top of it, but underneath it.
They'll leave it in Saturn. So here's something people are finding out. This is new information because it's funny I would ask the question about Saturn, but that's what I was guided to do. So this people on Saturn don't live on the surface; they live within the planet. Correct?
Yes, that's what I was told. I we weren't there for very long. They just
Yeah.
brought me there, and we saw the rings, and then they brought me back because we had other stuff to do. But that was something that I always wanted to do, and I had said it to my dad, and the next thing I know, the ship obliged me and brought us there, which I thought was really cool because the ship heard my request, and brought us there, because my this trip was essentially for me to learn. Um,
Mm,
this was more of a this last trip I went on was more of a personal trip. It
yeah.
wasn't.
Of course.
Yeah, because it had to do with bringing back my memories, and so that's what the trip was about. So I could bring that stuff back to you guys, but you guys all know this now. But
Yeah,
you know,
we do. Someone's asking. Sandra says, "April, I hope you read some books of your adventures so they're never forgotten."
that's what I was thinking. I don't know if I want to write a public book about my adventures because of, and especially with all the video proof and stuff that I
Yeah.
have on. But what I do want to do is keep a personal family, some kind of memoir or journal, so that my family knows that after the big contact happens, that it all started here with us.
Mm,
Oh, and my family will have some type of documentation of that this happened, this first happened with us, with the people that like me and the group, and what happened, and everything that is happening with the people that are in this room. This
yeah.
is happening with us right now. I
And
don't.
and that's a big collective us too. When April talks about that, initially, like I said, April, Chesno, myself, Kit Kat, Johnny, the five of us are going to usher in a lot of things for the planet on a very physical level. So when I use the word physical, I mean physical level, meaning we're not going to come back channeling kumbaya and that someday we're with you and we're going to be here someday and we love you all. None of that. Everything we're going to do when it happens in the next year or so, when we all get together on the ship with April and go to learn what we need to learn, we're going to bring that information to you, and we're going to be completely, in a way, activated. We're being downloaded all the time. I know when I go to sleep, that's the time I get downloaded, and I'm sure that happens for a lot of you out there. So that we're going to be bringing a lot more information as we learn. We can only give you what we can learn, what they want us to share as we go there. Now, for me, I can say that when I do get to that point with the rest of the group and we all go on, we're going to come back way different in some ways than we were before we left the Earth. And that means we're going to be more activated in our mission work as a collective group. And so will you, people watching this. As you in your groups down the road are contacted, you will have those experiences.
And last night, guys, I did a live, and last night's show, I had specifically asked out loud for because Commander has been having a lot of anxiety about really wanting to see his father, really wanting to see his mother, needing to have that experience with them. And I think pretty much everybody in this room that has been following our story and following our journey knows this. You know, the commander really, really wants this to happen. And last night, I wanted to help make that happen for him, because you know I love him. He's my brother, and I want him to be happy. I want all the people in our group to be happy, you know, because we are all connected together. But when my brother's having anxiety, like we are all feeling this anxiety that he has been going through because he really wants to see his father. Well, last night I did a live, and I did the delayed lighting, and asked out loud. I didn't know if it was going to happen, but I was hoping that it would. But I did the delayed lighting. I played some music, you know, not anything, you know, we could dance and see the fairies
Right.
dancing, and whatnot. So we, I did that last night. We put on some music, and just before we did, though, I asked if the commander's family would come, and the commander's mother and father would come and say hello to their son that he was watching. And during the show last night, guys, his whole family came through. Not just did his mother and father came through, but his sisters and his brother came through last night. And we got Ashley had gotten some really great shots. I think a bunch of people got some really great snapshots. I'm getting them as we speak. I've gotten a bunch already coming in. Everything is going to be sent to you, Commander, because it is your family. I'm going to send some to Alicia because Alicia's been fantastic with
Oh
cleaning
yeah,
pictures up.
Alicia, thank you for doing that.
Yeah,
Really, she's been beautiful. Thank you, Alicia.
I'm going to
You
send.
know, and I also, what's really interesting about last night, you know, I kept thinking I need to take a night off. You know, I don't always do this, but sometimes you do. And I took a night off, and you were on, and I said, you know what, I'm not going on live tonight. I have to be hanging out with April on her broadcast, on her live. And I said, I felt really good. I didn't go live last night. I just wasn't totally in the mood to do a live. And it's not always that way with me, but sometimes I need to take a break and just recenter. You know, at some point, I was just like, just watching, listening, hearing the music. And then when April knew I was there, she did call out for my family. And, you know, I'm open to whatever was going to happen that night. I had no preconceived notions. And people were taking pictures. And, you know, I just, they all came into her room. However that works again, it's like they opened up the thing and they came there and they were dancing. And the certain lighting that you used from TikTok lighting allowed you to see their form of their bodies in her room. And people have documented it from last night. And I will look at the pictures when I get them, of course. And April knows I have, you know, I definitely that there's an impatient, you know, as much as I am patient, believe it or not, they're right. And even my father on the ship knows kind of impatient a little bit. I don't like to be that way or want to be that way. I'm patient in most things, dealing on this crazy planet, but because I love them and now that I know them more, I want to be with them and I want to, you know, I want to be with them, you know. So it's when you start knowing you have parents other than your biological mom and dad, you know, and you know that there's something beyond our concept of reality, that we all of you out there, maybe you don't know it yet, but you all do have parents on other planets that are not your biological Earth parents. They do exist. Your brothers and sisters from other worlds, they do exist. So yeah, you have your sister on Earth, you have your brother on Earth, you have your uncle, your aunt, but you have your space family too. That's the most beautiful thing once you become aware of that, as happened with April, with what happened last night. once you're aware of that, I try to be patient, and I still have to work on that for myself, to the patient part. But I'm getting better at it. But we do have family, and they all showed up. And I wish I was on the screen so they can see my face. But I do, I know they knew I was there. It's just that, I'm looking forward to that time when I can actually embrace them and give them a hug my two sisters, my brother, and my mother and father, Luna and Robar. And I look forward to that day. And I know in the next 12 months, that point will be happening. I don't know the time or day because they don't tell us that. But that's where my patience is pretty good. I mean, I'm actually, doing pretty good, I think, you know?
What I'm gonna do in the meantime is I'm gonna send you all the raw pictures that I have now that people have sent me, so you can kind of look through them. But you can see your mother. You can definitely see your father. There's this one great shot in there that was taken of your your brother and your sister, because they have not seen each other. I know you have two sisters, but one of your sisters came through very clearly, and your brother, because one's stationed up in the clouds and the other one's down stationed in Ireland right now in the space station down there.
Yeah.
They haven't seen each other for a little while. So your sister actually hugged your brother, and they caught the snapshot of them hugging. And I've actually got that snapshot. So
Oh, really?
I'm sending right after the show. I'm sending everything I got to you, that what I've got so far. But I've got to hang on to some of them because I'm sending them to Alicia. So because Alicia did such a fantastic job of cleaning them up, I know she can clean them.
Alicia, thank you. Thank
But
you. Alicia, you're phenomenal. You
yeah,
know that?
Alicia, I'm so sorry, Alicia. Please and thank you. I just volunteer without asking her permission. Sorry, Alicia.
Really. You know, it's just, and, we usually, I know your other phone was really hot earlier. Is it still doing that, or is it back to normal?
It is still actually. I'm a little nervous about it because it's been. I don't want to lose this phone because it is like overheating. It's doing something very weird.
Yeah, I don't want you to lose it either. That would not be good unless our space family can work on the phone and get it to not be heating up, which they would have the ability to do. They can play around with it. Well, if they can play music on your phone, they can probably look at diagnostics of it and keep it cool. I don't know if it's still hot. That's what I'm worried. That's the only concern I have.
Because I was up in the mountain with it all day, and then I went on live with it, so I had
Oh,
it
okay.
on like all day. All
Yeah.
day. And I shouldn't have done that, but I was really having a tough time trying to get internet up in the mountain today because I really needed to be up there today. I needed to clear out some of my
And
energy.
the battery, someone's saying, my friend Johnny says the battery might need to be changed or something. Can you change batteries on a cell phone? I guess you could. I don't know
I don't know.
how that works. But yeah, let it just cool down. I don't want you to lose that phone. So the next time we do this, the phone will be operational.
Yeah.
We'll leave it alone. But just in terms of what's going on, like we're sharing this part of what happened last night at April's live. I said I took the time off. I just decided not to go live last night.
I am so glad you
And I
did.
think there was a reason, because of what happened last night.
I wasn't sure what was going to happen, if anything was going to happen. I just I don't, it was just one of those nights. I always skip out. I'll stop my live when it's time for your show, and I always,
Right,
we all skip over to your show. That's just
right,
the way
right.
we do it because I don't interfere, and I'm always there to support my brother, regardless. So I'm always there somewhere in the background. But I last night it was one of those nights where I just felt like it was just right. Like I just felt like it needed to happen, and I was really hoping that I was going to see you in there so you could witness that, if something did come across or something did happen, because it just felt like the energy was right, and I felt like you really needed to see that. Because
Yeah, I was really told not to go on my live and do a live, and I really felt I needed to take a break from encounters last night. And you were on. I said, "Oh, I'm going to hang out with April's live," and that's when it'll happen. Golden Bear saying, I want to meet my star family so bad. I try to connect with them every night through meditation. You want to take on that
Absolutely.
about contacting their family?
I think that I think one thing is that, the more we like meditate and stuff like that, I think that sometimes it kind of has the opposite effect. I think that the more we're like pushing, pushing, pushing to do something, the less likely it's going to happen. If you let go just for instance, take a step back from the meditation for one, because it already sounds like you have protected yourself and you're doing all the right things. But I think if you just let go of that, go outside and start grounding yourself with some earth, and then start watching the stars, is when you're more than likely going to have contact than you are doing meditations inside. Because right now the contacts are happening everywhere, everywhere. And I'm thinking the way I'm kind of feeling these days, because there is so many of them out there now, and most of them are trying to make contact with with their with us, their star children, that they really want to have contact with you. They don't want you to be afraid of them, and it doesn't sound like you are, because you're trying to reach out to them.
Right.
I think that my suggestion would be slow down with the meditations. Don't push so hard. Go outside. If your weather and your health is okay with that, go outside. Ground yourself with some earth and start watching the stars, and I bet you that's when you're going to have contact, when you start letting go a little bit and stop, like trying so hard to make that contact. Let go a little bit, start watching the stars, or start watching the stars, and
Right.
start being a little more um open, and not so like I really, 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 really want this to happen, because it seems like the more we want something to happen, it never does. It
Yeah.
seems like it never does. If you let go a little bit, start grounding yourself with some earth, start watching the stars more, get outside, that's when you're going to have the contacts. That's when they're going to start coming to you, because they want you to see them. So you have to actually be outside to have this happen. So go outside, start watching the stars, take your phone with you, do some filming, get some fresh air. I bet you that's when you're going to start making contact with your star family.
Yeah, I think so too. And I've got multiple different questions here. Deborah, hey, Deborah's one of the friends of the show. She's asking about your phone. Is the overheat alert showing on the phone? I don't know. I didn't even know there was an overheat alert
No, that is,
mode on the screen of a phone before.
it's weird, because
Uh,
this is it's I have like the phone I'm on now is like the iPhone 14, or
yeah,
it was last year's model iPhone. So it's a new iPhone. It's not the titanium one, but it was last year's model. But the phone that they choose to make contact on is like an iPhone 11. It's an older iPhone. It's a good iPhone. I've never had any problems with it. But today I was up in the mountains and I was filming on it all day. I was trying to do a live, like I had it, kept trying to get the live stream to come
right.
up there all day trying to get this to happen. Then I come down the hill and I immediately went on the live with it. So it was like running um, on video all like all day. So it was really hot in the back earlier, and I don't want to mess this phone up, because this is the phone that we have contact on. This is the one that they actually speak through. So I was trying to just give this phone a little rest, because I was on it all day today, and I
Yeah.
really want to mess that phone up.
And real time, Johnny says, he's saying basically to me, I had my dream about you last night, Commander. Oh, interesting. And we were connected. Interesting. And let's see, um,
Yeah, see, mine does that.
meditation. Let's see, I'm just going down. Commander, for all relatives, Commander, I have wanted you to have direct contact as you're the communications guy on Earth. And it'll happen, like I said, within the next 12 months. The group of us will be actually together. And also, when we have our May 25th gathering, April, myself, Kit Kat, and Chesno will be here, and we're going to hopefully see if we can get Johnny up here if he feels up to it and he's feeling good. We'd love to have Johnny come up with us here. So, but if not, he'll be here in spirit. But at least 4 of the 5 of us will be up here. Marin Thomas says, so please don't stress out over changing your phone over April. Oh, she's letting the phone cool, letting the phone rest. I think if it rests, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think it
Karen
was.
Pratt says, the more I observe them, the more they connect with me, because Karen Pratt's she goes through astral or Merkaba state or astral with her connections with her star family right now. David, what you guys think CERN opened portals? Do we think, April, I think CERN, most likely probably did, but we
Wait, I didn't hear that question. What was it? I'm sorry.
saying, do we think that CERN thing in Europe opened portals?
Yes.
Yes, we both would agree with that. Yes, they have done that. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm just, Marin Thomas says, yes, I was a little stressed. Okay. Ashley says, oh, and I think Apple has to change batteries, right? I don't know much about Apple phones. I have
Yeah,
a
you're right.
Android phone.
They have to do it. I'm
Has,
not messing with it. I'm
yeah,
just
Sandra says, has anyone been seeing letters and numbers very clearly in the sky or pictures a lot lately?
yes.
Not me. I haven't not. Let's.
I have been seeing some markings in the sky, and I have been seeing them. It's really weird because listen, and you're gonna think, and I got a picture of one of them too, but in these clearings in my woods where the spaceships land, there's fallen logs like all over the place, except for in these circles of trees where the spaceships do their landing at, and I happened to notice that there was some strange markings in some of these fallen logs. That I got some pictures of, and I thought it was really strange when I looked at it. It looked like some kind of writing, but I don't know what it is. I took pictures of it just so I remembered it, and because there's so many weird things that happen in my woods that I take pictures of everything. But now that you're saying that, like I had noticed that where the spaceships have been landing in my woods, like there's some weird markings that are in the fallen logs and some of the trees. And I've also seen them in the sky, like weird markings or certain like letterings or groups of, and it sounds strange, but I'm seeing it like in the air. Is that what you're talking about? Because I feel like I'm the only one who's seeing this.
I think I don't know if that's the case. If they're seeing that, I'm like now I'm slowing my looking at comments here so I don't miss anybody's questions, and I'll see if they have a response to that. And we'll get to the person that's asking that question about numbers. Amber's saying, I'm new. Does anyone have a belief or ability of being able to win things or force certain outcomes? I will say this, that no matter what our abilities are, let's say I want to win the lottery and it's $1 billion. And I tested that theory out and it doesn't work. Um, if you're going to have the ability to win something, I think it's just being at the right place in the universe at the right time. But I don't think our abilities are meant for that. Whatever we have, I think it's meant for things much greater than whether we win something or
Right.
you can't really force an outcome on anything. There's no way of forcing something. It's just gonna naturally either happen or not happen.
Hello, J Niner. Yeah, no. I'm gonna try to speak for all of us, but I think our abilities are more for helping people, for for like spreading awareness, helping people open up, helping people not be afraid, are also our abilities to connect with one another. All this has been heightened, especially with the 5 of us. We have all been like heightened to one another's emotions and connections as well. Like we're almost at the point right now where we are moving as one unit, the 5 of us.
Yeah, pretty much so. Yeah, we pretty much know what each other thinks when we are on together. We pretty much are very much in sync with each other now as a group of five. Our level of energy, our consciousness is very much in sync with each other. So hopefully, Amber, that answers that. And welcome to Encounters, Amber. We're on every Friday night with our Ashtar Command Q&A. Normally, when April's other phone is not where it is right now, we usually have our Space Family select music, and the music usually has a message in it. We'll be doing that next Friday with the other phone she has, not tonight, because we want to make sure that phone is as good as it can be. Let's see.
A little bit of brain fart. I wouldn't have been on my phone as much as I was today, but I don't know why. I was thinking today was Thursday all day, and then the commander had to remind me it was Friday. I was like, oh my.
I don't want to mess you up. I could have said there's no days left. We're in a no day zone, and then you would know what day it is. But I didn't want to do that to you. I'm just kidding. I get. Let's see here. People are still talking about. Hello from outer space. Will Chandler says, "Hey Will, hello from outer space. Hello back." And
Hello.
let's see. Golden Bear says to Sandra, "Yes, I keep seeing 444."
Yeah,
Let's see. Let's see.
everywhere. That's why my friends with fairies 111.
Amber says to Jess Parker, "It's weird because I have to think things all the way through for bad things not to happen." Well, if you want to prevent bad things not to happen, Amber, just meditate and just say, "I'm a Christed being of light." Operate in a mode of put yourself into the frequency of the Christ, the cosmic Christ. I'm talking, and envelop all that energy of the Christ levels into your consciousness, and you won't be able to have bad things in your consciousness happen. Just clear it out and say no more. Just simply say no. I don't want any more.
See, I'm not the
Okay.
only.
The
Ashley said
what?
the same. Ashley thought it was Thursday all day today too.
Oh my gosh. And there's still people talking about fixing the phone. That's amazing. Hi, Commander and friends with fairies. J Niner. Good to see you, J Niner. Let's see here. I always see numbers and letters, J Niner says. Miriam Thomas, I have gone too long with my phone overheating. It wasn't set. Okay, so the whole phone thing. Let's see. J Niner says, I've been seeing hearts lately. Pictures, people, angels, animals. Linda Lovely. I see them often, J Niner. Karen Pratt says, I see symbols through dreams. I'm just reading your comments. Sandra says, yes, clouds and pictures like clearly written. I have some pictures of them. Let's see.
Guys, I also want to say, put out there too that right now there's been a huge rash of downloads happening. Huge rash of downloads. The commander and I have both been talking about it. Like we have both been getting massive downloads. So hasn't Johnny, and Kit Kat has also been getting downloads recently. Like a lot of downloads. So much so that it's making everybody very emotional the last few days. I know for me, today has just been an emotional up and down. I basically had a nervous breakdown on my live earlier. Apologies, guys. But yeah, it's been all over the place. Like,
Yeah,
this the it's because of the downloads, guys. Sometimes downloads come out of us emotionally. Sometimes they come out in physical ways, aches, pains, things like that. Chamomile tea helps. And so doesn't turmeric, and ginger also helps with the download aches is what we call it.
yeah,
Download aches.
pretty much. The download, that sounds like a song.
I, the achy breaky.
You might have me singing a song tonight. I went, let's see here. I'm looking at some of the notes here. Your intentions. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's see.
You're very welcome, Golden Bear.
I'm sorry, I don't have my earpods on now because they're not connecting with my phone.
There was just
I got to turn the volume up. Wait a minute. Where's my volume? Now it's much better. Okay, now I can hear better.
Golden Bear was just thanking saying thank you, Commander and April, for all your information. And you are very, very welcome. That's one of the reasons why, that's part of our mission, guys, is we are supposed to be talking about this stuff. We are supposed to be sharing this journey with you guys. You guys need to know all this information because most of you in this room are light workers and healers and and helping other people, and you guys need to know what's happening. You guys need to know all the the latest news and information. And Commander's show has been a great way to get that out because he's got so many viewers that come in here. It's been a really good way to get this information out, so you guys as light workers and healers and people that are just wanting to help others can get this information out. It's supposed to be like that domino effect of helping each other, because we want to start waking people up. And like the commander was always saying, he wants to shake up the matrix. He wants to break it essentially. He's all about that. And we got it. We have to get this news out to you guys so you guys know that we are not living in a matrix, that we this is actually happening, and this is for real. Guys, this information that we're bringing you is real. We've been documenting this. We have proof of everything that we're talking about. We have pictures, videos, the whole nine going across the board of everything that we are talking to you guys about. Not to mention the fact that this is actually happening now on lives, that you guys are able to witness this because the space people want you guys to know this.
Yeah, and also as we're looking at things here, let's see. I'm super. Jay Niner says I'm super happy to get to see Friends and Fairies on your show live. You're very welcome, Jay Niner. And and she can come on usually anytime in general during my show. She knows this, and that goes for any of my guests that have been on before. I'm very much an open house, cosmically speaking. I operate the show without any ego. It's part of my mission, and so that's the difference between me and every other social media outlet. This I do radio for 21 years with my Ashtar Command show, which I still do, and also I'm very dedicated to, as April said, busting the matrix and busting people's matrix in their consciousness when I need to do that as well. Let's see. Let's see.
If it the commander show, we would not have found our five the way we did. And I just want to also say that because we were all guided to his show. Every single one of us were guided to his show, which was a beautiful thing. The commander had gotten this bug in his rear end years ago that he was going to do something. He figured out he was going to do TikTok, didn't know what he was going to do on TikTok. And,
I
there's
had
this
no idea.
there's this whole story about how he finally figured out that there was this need for people to be able to share their experiences. And he's not all about battling and channeling and doing any of that corny stuff that
No,
people are doing. Whatever people are doing is their stuff, but the commander wanted to keep it real, keep it honest, and keep it humble. And that's what he's done on his show. He's created this very real place where people can come and actually talk about their real experiences and know that they won't be laughed at or embarrassed or humiliated. And if you're coming into his show acting, crazy at people, then he just won't have it, and he'll put you out in outer space in a heartbeat. You
that's
know,
right.
and he, like with me, I didn't even want to talk about my fairies at all because I protect them, and and I didn't want to be laughed at either. And he helped me open up and be able to come out with what I know and the information that I have. And and now look where we're at. And and because of his show, we also found our five. And we
Yeah,
were here this
it's
whole
true.
time and none of us knew it. We were all here the whole time when none of us knew it, but we all
We
knew
didn't know. We knew nothing. We were just. I mean, I didn't know any of the people of the five, and I and many of the viewers I didn't know that are now friends all over the place that are friends of the show. And it's just what happened. It's just that it was I guess on some level I was pushed here not just by my friends on Facebook, but probably from our Ashtar Command family when I didn't even realize they were doing it. And they knew what they were doing. I think they really are the ones who brought us all on TikTok together. I mean, I really do believe that now at this point. And so there's a whole storyline. If there was to be a movie made or a series about this and it was on Netflix, it'd be a story based on a true story of how this all happened. And it would be a series that would probably go on for probably 5 years or whatever. And, and thank you for joining my team. Thank you for that. I'm just catching up here. Someone has a question. I call it the eye. I'm looking at the eye. Hey, April, a question may show some fairies on the live love and gratitude. I think next time we do a Friday night show, if once we'll see. Once when April's on, I can't get tongue twisted. When April's actually physically on the show, visually on the show, I'm sure she'll be able to share a photo of. Or I can even do that here if it's sent to me. I can show the pictures of the fairies too, and April can do that switching on to the green screen. But yeah, I'm sure that would be possible, right, April?
Yeah, so the commander, I just send everything to the commander, let him deal with the technical part of it
Yeah,
because I'm
yeah,
a little technically challenged.
yeah. I can do
So
that.
I send everything to him and he does all the footwork. That's the way our brother and sister relationship works.
Yeah, yeah. That's what
But
I do.
I will be sending him pictures of Gan, which is our Anunnaki contact, and he will have that to be able to show you guys. And whatever fairies you guys want to see, we have tons of videos of them. Also, I'll be doing a delayed lighting show tomorrow night. Tonight was I was going to do it tonight, but I had a little bit of an emotional issue
Yeah,
tonight. It's been a
and
rough
and
going.
plus your phone thing happened, so it's all good. And next Friday, folks, we promise I'll have April on the screen. You won't just see her face on the picture, um, and we'll not have her wearing a cowboy hat with a mustache. I can guarantee you that.
We won't do the Tahar thing. I look
But you
crazy.
know what?
I
You know what?
tried to, but
You
I
were
look.
so funny the other night. I don't want to say why, but there was a one point where you're playing around with the TikTok thing. I will not say anything, but you had me almost falling off my seat. You
Literally.
did. You really did. I mean, I have never seen you like in that thing. I will not even mention it, but it was so funny that I couldn't breathe. I almost fell off the seat. And
Could
you
you
were,
imagine? Could you? I mean, just think about it. Could you imagine at that one moment that you're in
oh
a
man.
comfortable spot, and the man's coming,
You
then you
were.
can look down and
If you folks had seen it, it
like,
was the funniest thing. I don't think you realized you did that, and when you did it,
I did
you
not at
were
first. Then
you
when
were
I saw
spinning
it, I'm like,
around like you're gonna disappear. And I'm like laughing, look at you spinning, and your face looks different. And when I think about it now, I'm still laughing when I think about the picture of it. It
so
was very funny. It was
for
funnier than you even know.
for those of you who don't know, so last night I was trying to switch. I was looking for the delayed lighting app, and I was trying to switch it over, and I don't know what I hit, but I hit something, and my face ended up in one of those toilet bowls, and so it looked like my face was in the toilet being flushed. And I was like, and I saw what had happened, and I was like, I couldn't get it off, but I had to just find that delayed lighting to switch it over. So I couldn't help. I was laughing so hard I couldn't find
I know you
delayed
were.
lighting. And then I was like, the commander is so worried about being in this position when the Ashtar command comes. I said he doesn't have to worry about that. He just has to look down. And I was like, hey, how you doing? And then my face got
And
flushed.
then you were spinning around flushing, and it was really a comical moment for April. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen, and but she figured out how to get out of it. That thank God she was able to get out of it and back onto the seat. But it was funny.
Yeah.
And continuing on with some of the questions here, let's see. Uh, Golden Bear says, "Thank you, April Commander, for all of your information." Oh, Golden Bear, you're very welcome. Let's see. Karen Pratt says, "Agreed, April. A lot of downloads." I says, "Hey, April. Okay. Yeah, we answer that question next week. I'll have pictures of the fairies and other stuff, and the space being Gantz, and whatever else is sent to me. With I'll when we're on, I'll let her explain what they are, who they are. Davy Boyce says my ear started buzzing on M8's live. M8's live though through a healing frequency. Marion Thomas say to ginger and turmeric tea, great for settling stomachs through downloads. Faryal says, I want to hear your story. Faryal, welcome to the show. And we are sharing the stories about contact. I will say that April, my friend in Vermont, has been physically on board our Ashtar Command family ships over 13 times now. And she just, the other couple nights ago, was on the ships as well, and she came back. So as you watch this, you'll hear stories. It's now 1:30 a.m. in the morning. We want to get to 100,000 likes. If you're watching Encounters, this is the Ashtar Command Contact Night. We've had 6.3 thousand people view the show since slightly before 11 p.m. Eastern. That's a lot of people. We want to thank all the 6,300 that have actually been here, whether you've been here for 5 or 10 minutes or a half hour. That's 6,300 people so far that have been watching the show. I track the viewership. My ears being when Karen Pratt says my ears begin something with the download with her ears. Let's see here. I believe it. I just don't want to say it too much. Noel says I believe it. I just don't want to say it too much. Let's see here. I watched Contact of the Fifth Kind other night. Dr. Stephen Greer's in it. Yes, a number of us. I've watched a little bit of it from time to time, and I actually met Dr. Stephen Greer in the 90s. Magneta Rose, thank you for the rose. Let's see. Messy Desi, I'm pretty sure I was abducted in 2001 several times when I was living in Central Florida. UFO UAP, good to see you. Good to have you with us, brother. I says, hey, April, may show some fairies. Oh, I think I already went through that one. Let's see. Wendy says, this is a good question. Wendy's asking us, April, are they from outer space or are they interdimensional?
Are you talking about the space beings or the fairies?
I think Wendy's talking about the space beings.
The space beings.
Intradimensional, yeah.
Space beings are from all over the place. They are coming from everywhere. They are coming from dimensional and from space.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. Ashley says, ever since I saw Commanders Live, I haven't missed any. I'm so connected and interested. We appreciate that, Ashley. And I know that our space family is watching on monitors. I can also say that through even this phone that April's using, I hear some energy coming through that is definitely, I believe, from a higher frequency or vibrational pattern. River Blue says, April is such a sweet soul. You have no choice but to love her.
Oh, thank you.
Let's see here. Red One. Hey, Red One. The Green Lantern is great about fear. Karen Pratt says, I get on when I can. Difficult because I live in the UK. We love our friends in the UK. Oh, most definitely.
Yes, we do.
And I says, thank you. Much love. Jersey for Life says, hey, how's your leg, April? I know you went into it before.
My leg, the infection is healed because my mother came through and when I was in my hospital stay and healed my leg. As far as the infection, I'm still having some issue with swelling though. They don't know why my foot keeps swelling the way it does. So, um, come Monday, I have more testing and doctors.
Yeah. Well, hopefully your leg will be able to rest before we go into the field that weekend here in Connecticut. Well, I think the pizza will help you. The pizza that's gonna be it, April. You can have any kind of pizza you want, by the way. And let's see here. Oh, this is interesting. Linda's saying, April, does the commander have any fairies?
Yes, he does. Yes, two.
I have two fairies.
Yeah.
I've never seen them before, to be honest, but
Moving around your
yeah.
head, you don't see them. I can see them. You have one that's right above your ear on the, well, if I'm turning facing your direction, it would be on your left side, just above your ear. That's where that one likes to hang out. The other one likes to hang out in your lower curls.
Okay, yeah, my curly hair is really nice. The fairies like my curly hair.
They love hanging out in people's hair for some reason. That's their go-to spots.
Go-to spot.
Yep.
Okay, now I know. I never asked. No one's ever asked about whether I have fairies or not, and now I know I have two fairies that like to be around my head area.
That's
Interesting.
where they're hanging out at is usually around people's hair. They like to be connected in with in human hair for some reason. I don't know what the significance is with human hair, but that's where they like to be.
That's like probably being in a jungle or something. Not really, but
Probably because they're
it
soft.
says it says here. Sony AMC 256. Will you wear had space family? Will you wear you had space family before you went on the ship the first time?
Yes, we both did. We both knew.
Yeah, we both knew that. April did. I did too.
We were both contacted. He was what, you were nine, about
I
nine,
was
and I was
preteen when the spaceship was hovering in our cul-de-sac in Plainview, Long Island, and I saw men, women physically, like clear as day. And I always can see their picture when I close my eyes. They had beautiful. They were just beautiful. I think some of them had dark hair, some of them had sort of lighter colored hair, and they also had their children on board the ship too. Yeah, and let's see. Ashley says, I have the Tahar screenshots. If someone has the sound, we could put it together for April.
oh,
They have you on screenshots saying Tahar the other night.
yeah, they kept trying to make me do it, and I was like, I can't. I look crazy when I do it. My eyes get all big, and oh my god, and I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't stop laughing because I kept picturing you do it, and then I was trying to do it because they were trying to make me do it, and I'm just like, I was like, I can't do it. I'm not the commander. I
But you
gotta.
know what? You did. You actually, if people were on the live last night, she did really well. She did very well with the Tahar with the brown hat with the mustache. It was actually funny, and it's in the most incredibly way funny. And you really did do a good job of it. You know, just differently. That's all.
Had me laughing so hard I started
You did.
snorting, and
You
I
actually
could.
went off camera. Let's see. April does the command. Okay, we've done that one. I love. Okay. Golden Bear says, I love the Tahar moments. Also, I was laughing so hard. Um, and I think our space family, when they've been watching the show or been with us, they find it funny when I do the Tahar thing. Let's see here. I got no coins left. Paranormal, don't worry about that. Michael says, seeing is believing. And let's see. Wendy says, ETs. Did the Did the TikTok fire a frequency over the app midweek? I don't know. Did the TT fire a frequency over the app? I have no idea. Judy McLean, everyone thinks I'm crazy when I tell them about Ashtar Command and our star families. Well, that's because they just don't understand, Judy. They will eventually understand when the spaceships are all over the place. Then they will say, oh, Judy, you know what? Now I know. It'll take time, but it's okay. Amber says, is it true I can see space beings with night vision at night, otherwise a clear orb in day? So night vision equipment, which we've used here, Amber, we use it. We've seen, this is interesting. One year at the Apple Orchard, we had the night vision on. We couldn't see anything to the southeast of us. To night vision on, we saw five big spaceships that were like large circular orbs, and we watched them through the night vision. One of them separated from the other five, the other four, and started going in a different direction. The other four stayed in formation. When we didn't have the night vision equipment hooked up and we were looking, we didn't see anything in the southwest, and we're in Connecticut, southeast. I mean, so the southeast there were these five huge ships that were like round circular craft, light colored. and translucent, and one of them decided to move, and the other four stayed in formation. So the night vision lets you see things that you normally cannot see with your human eye. It's if anyone ever gets night vision equipment, they need to be third generation night vision goggles, and you go on a clear night in a very non-polluted airspace, and you do your meditation and you learn how to focus on what you want to do. Night vision will help you see cloaked spaceships. Um, let's see what other questions we have here. Cherry juice helps swelling. Wendy says, cherry juice. I didn't know about that. Cherry juice helps swelling.
Hmm.
Did you know about that, April?
No, I didn't. I've been like really trying to keep my kidney functions and all that going good. So I've been really working with the cranberry juices and all that. I've been
Hmm.
getting some help from some natural healers in here, which has been helping with like the pain piece of it, salt soaks and stuff like that. Trying to, they have me on two new antibiotics, but the natural healing seems to help more than the antibiotics are doing.
Yeah, natural healing always does help better than anything man puts in pharmaceuticals. Amber says that women host try organic lemon honey water for swelling worked wonders on hubby's leg swelling. Oh, interesting, Amber. Let's see here. Linda, because I see them in his hair. Linda Lovely says she can see the fairies in my hair.
You could probably see them like with your background app. You can probably see them moving around a little bit. I mean, I can see them. There's you have little guys in there, a couple of little guys. I'm assuming they're male because they're not free floating. But every once in a while, I'll see one kick a little leg out or a little arm out. I've been
And
seeing 'em the whole time,
River
like
Ruth
not just
says,
tonight, but I've seen them the whole time. But I just,
yeah. River Blue's joking around. He says, be careful scratching your head. Wendy says, I want to see fairies. Let's see. Let me take a look here. I'm going down. I'm looking at the people's questions here. Amber says, friends of fairies regarding fairies in hair. Hair has been sacred spiritual to Native Americans. Interesting. And I'm still going down. Half pint. Half pints are friends up in the Appalachian Mountains. And this is interesting. And April, I know this, that half pint, Ray and his wife are having encounters with star people on their property. They're in a remote area up in the mountains in that area. And they actually have the Anunnaki. They're in touch with the Anunnaki, who are actually beautiful people. They're men, women,
Waiting.
they're tall, and they're very beautiful. They're having, in that part of the world, very beautiful experiences, and they're sending me pictures, and they're documenting a lot of beautiful things up there too.
I know.
And we both know, April and I know them. I mean, we know that is in conjunction with what we're talking about in terms of we're doing slightly different, and they've been coming up to their door. The Anunnaki have done that, and they've come into their house too.
Awesome. See, I've been in dealing with our Anunnaki connection now is Gan, and he's been like real informative about information and forthcoming, and now he knows the rift, so he's been just popping in and out as he pleases now,
Yeah,
which I find kind of comical, but he's really really nice, and I really really enjoy spending time with him. Although we had this whole conversation this last time I went on the ship. We were talking about the significance of the pollution and stuff that's been happening around the world, and he had this question, and he was didn't understand he didn't understand about paper, and why were we hurting our trees to get paper, and then I don't even know how the conversation got shifted to toilet paper, but that is a conversation I never want to have again, because I was trying to explain to him about toilet paper. I don't know how we got on that subject, but he was very curious and really wanted to know, like, why we as humans are hurting our trees to make toilet paper that we are using to
yeah,
what we are using it for, and then we are throwing it into into clean water to flush away into our oceans. And
Right.
I was that is a whole conversation that I was like not prepared for.
Yeah,
Told
see that, you know, and what when you were talking with them, you never know what they want to know about, the curiosities they have about what we think are just naturally things that we know exist on our planet all over the place. They are curious about those things. So it must have been. I'm sure there was, and when you told that story, I'm sure there's like a sense of understanding as to why we, you know,
I was trying
eventually that will
serious
change and shift, but that's just the way we operate on Earth that way, you know?
that part of me kept coming out like I couldn't stop laughing. I was trying to explain it to him, but I couldn't stop laughing. And then he was laughing because I was laughing. And it was one of those conversations. Like I was trying to be serious and have this whole serious conversation with him about it, but I kept laughing and I couldn't stop laughing because it was just an awkward conversation.
Yeah. And yeah, it would be kind of awkward that way. Let's see here. Ashley says, I have Commander's Tahar screenshots. So if someone has the voice, we could put it together, laugh. For some reason, I can't screen record. Let's see. Uh, let's see. I'm just trying to see whether we're almost at 100,000. If you have pictures, how do you send them? You can send them through email. I've been getting a lot of email. That's a good way of sending pictures to CmdrAleon at AOL.com. And if you haven't done any gifting for April or myself, I would say gift both of us. Definitely gift April. It will definitely help her in the mission work she's doing. So I totally encourage it. And any gifts you want to give me as well during the show here, you can use your TikTok gifts. If you want a Venmo app, April or me, you can do that. I mean, I have Venmo. April has a different app. I think. Real talk. Thank you for the roses. We appreciate you, brother. I have pictures. So CmdRAleon at AOL.com for the photos. Ira says, I honestly thought my friend was crazy for seeing fairies. I believe now. Thank you. So we've just taught Amber a lot of stuff. Thank you, Amber. Thank you for being here with the show. We're on usually 11 p.m. with our regular show at night. And then also my friend April does live broadcasts. So if you see her live, follow her. And so if you see her live, definitely go and watch her live broadcast. That goes for anybody here. Watch April's live broadcast as well. Let's see. I asked my friends to come see you in the hospital. Half Pint said her Anunnaki friend, she was asking them to see you in the hospital. That's Half Pint.
Thank you.
And Half Pint sees they have fairies up there where they are too. So Half Pint sees fairies all the time. I hug the trees in the woods where I live. Rail Talk says, such a weird question. Let's see here. I do too. Grounding and touching trees. Let's see.
I do all the time, guys. I love my trees up in my woods. They're because their trees are living entities and they do have feelings and they've been around for a very long time and people just walk past them and forget that they're even there. I try not to. I try to acknowledge them as I'm walking through, even if it's just a quick hello.
Yeah. And Karen Pat, Cuddy 303, you work so too hard. Karen Pratt says, such a great show tonight. Thank you, Karen. And we're almost at 100,000. We're at 98.4. And I'm going to track the broadcast we've had now reached 7,000 viewers. 7,000 viewers since just prior to 11 p.m. Eastern. So we've had over 7,000 people at some point in our programming watch the show all over the place. That's a lot of people, folks. And I have to thank all 7,000 of you, wherever you are, whether you've been in here for watching 10 minutes of the show or 15 or 30 minutes or the whole show. Over 7,000 people now have actually been in our Encounters live broadcast looking at the show and hearing some things in the show. So we really appreciate that. Half Pint says, my trees wave at me.
That's cool. Yeah, mine do too. And it's really nice that they acknowledge you when you go by. So, I always say, if you go by and you got a minute, say hi to one of them, or, if you filling up to it, give them a hug. They love
Oh
it.
yeah, absolutely. And we just, speaking of, after giving a hug, we've reached 100,000 viewers. Everybody follow everybody. Everybody follow April, myself, follow each other. Um, Artistic Holistic says, I do Reiki too. That's a good thing there. Artistic Reiki is a beautiful thing. Wendy says, I believe half pint. I have a crazy mulberry tree in my backyard. It will look like somebody is something. I'm not sure if I'm catching that word. Ocean X from Sweden. Sweden, welcome to the show over in Sweden. We're glad to have you with us up there in Sweden. Very good. We have a Swedish person in here. Thank you for joining us. Encounters here in Connecticut. This is our Ashtar Command special edition. So welcome. We're on most every night except for last night. I took a break. 11 p.m. Eastern in the United States. Real Talk says, I'm going to go walking after the show's over. Golden Bear says, I used to live near the Redwood Forest in Northern California. I miss them so much. Cuddy 303 says, I can make flowers bloom by showing love. And if you show love to your plants, like I'm growing, I have a greenhouse indoors. I'm growing watermelons from seed. I can just say on the show now, I have 5 plants that are coming up that are in cups, biodegradable cups in my greenhouse. And I'm so excited. And as they get stronger and bigger, they will be transplanted outside. So I talk to my plants, my watermelon plants.
So these are your watermelons that are already coming up?
Yeah, I have 4 baby ones that just came up the last 2 or 3 days, and
Wow.
I have 5 different varieties of watermelon that are coming up. They're all marked with a permanent ink marker, so I know which ones they are, and they're starting to come up now. Yeah,
That's awesome.
and that they won't go out into the field where I do my micro farming until they get big enough and strong enough. Thank you everybody for being here. Well, it's going to be almost near 2.
Yeah.
I think we're going to wind down the show, and we thank you for all your questions. We appreciate you, Pittsburgh. Thank you for the heart me. Cuddy says, Buddha showed me how to grow my veins like plants. I says love. We send love back to I. Everybody else here, and do any last minute gifting towards the end of the show. We'd like to see as many people gift as possible. In this case, to April and myself. So if you have any TikTok coins or you want to do the Venmo for me, I have Venmo. You can go to my main profile page and press the link to my Venmo to donate anything you want, like right away. If you're doing TikTok and you have TikTok coins and gifts and you know how to use it, you can gift April and myself right now before the show ends. And we want to thank everybody who sent April gifts and myself gifts tonight. We certainly appreciate it. You can subscribe to my live here. We have 100 subscribers, or you can again, you can choose if we want to do a month or 2 months subscription to the program. Definitely. But again, I want to thank you. I hope you've learned a few things here tonight. And we'll be continually helping you on Friday nights with information. April and I will certainly help you out. And I always know when April's going to go on the ship. And before I go off the program, I will say that I believe April's going to be going on the ship. Let me close my eyes here for a minute. Either Sunday night or next Tuesday or Wednesday. Sunday night or next Tuesday. So between Sunday night and next week, between then and Wednesday, getting a feeling that you're going to be going to do some more work. I'm not sure where you're going, but you'll know. They'll let you know. It's going to be probably between Sunday and Wednesday before next Friday. Before next Friday, you're going to be taken on the ship.
Okay.
Yeah, just so give you a heads up so you have no surprises there.
I always say Don't surprise me, and I always end up surprised.
Yeah. And if people don't know this, and April will tell you, I always, I'm not a person that predicts things, but I always, for some reason, that's what happens.
It's something with the connection that they have given the five of us that the commander has, and this is, and it's absolutely the truth, that he always knows when I am going to go on these ships. It's now, it's like I kind of count on it because it's like a heads up for me that I, at least I'm forewarned that this is going to be happening, and I'm not thrown off or
Right.
surprised, you know. Because at first it was like a surprise when they would show up, and I was always completely thrown off. Like I'd be outside in my pajamas, my hair crazy, and slippers, and it's like now I know, okay, it's going to be in the next few days, so make sure you're dressed.
Right, right. So yeah, she's definitely folks going on the ship really clearly in general terms between Sunday and next Thursday. So it's going to be somewhere in before next Friday. She will be going on the ship. Um, so that's my information for her. I want to thank everybody for watching the show. April, thanks for doing what you do, sister, with us, and we've hopefully helped a lot of people with their questions. Hopefully, you've learned a little bit more about the Ashtar Command and what's happening and what's going to happen. And as we can proceed to give you more information, as the months go by and as the five of us are together on the ship, then each of us will give you information that we have. When we come back to Earth, we'll give you information that we have as well. All right. I want to thank you all. April, thank you so much for all the work you do. We appreciate it.
For all the gifts, and thank you for the love you guys have been showing me. I really appreciate it. I love you all, and you guys have a great night.
And remember, when April's on, follow April. And this way you'll get to know when she's on live because it'll pop up on the TikTok. And she gets on. When do you normally go live on your own time period?
Well, recently it's been like between 7 and 9 o'clock. I've been going on.
Okay. So look for her between 7 and 9 p.m. in the night, and unless she's on the ship, look for her. Unless they take her on the ship when she's live, but look for her live, and you'll learn a lot of things. And I'm on at 11 o'clock with the counters. So tomorrow night, our regular show will be on. If you want to be a guest talking about your visitations, your UFO sightings that you're recording or documenting, uh, Bigfoot, fairies, the mer people, that whole area, we'll definitely be happy to have you on here as long as you have over 200 followers or over 800 gives you the ability to go on with the video as well. I want to thank everybody for being here. And again, the final numbers for the show tonight were 7,300. So another 300 people between the last 20 minutes. We've had 300 more people come into the room, and I can track everything on here with the show. I do that on my radio show. I can track the internet audience, and I can also, the only thing I can't track is our FM audience, and that's a lot of people. So I want to thank again everybody for being here. Look for us on tomorrow night. I'll be doing on Sunday morning. I don't know what's happening yet, but anyway, just all have a good night, and we'll see you again. Take care, everybody. Thank you very much for supporting what we're doing here. Take care.
Love you guys. You guys have a fantastic night, and I just want to thank you guys for all your support and all the love that you have been showing to the show, and all the love you've been showing to the commander, and you guys following our story has just been absolutely amazing. You guys get some rest, and I'll be seeing you guys soon.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody. Have a good night. Have a good weekend.